Yeah. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recon. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. EYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain revolution, here to stay. Yeah, see I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah, Nicky's. Yeah, OnChain revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps and I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, change. Yeah, send it to the deck. Yeah, sell it through the spec. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire crypto ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be awesome, guys, because it does feel like we are bouncing back. So this morning, Bitcoin headed down towards 109, but out of nowhere, a spring to send it back over 111, and it does look like we're going to be entering 112 here. The momentum is back. It does feel like the bottom is in. We're going to get into that. Big whales coming into the market and buying hundreds of millions of dollars. Yes, retail is selling to whales again. Retail is going on Hyperliquid and Aster and getting liquidated. Retail is being the idiots that retail are. This is why retail is always retail and not smart money. But we're going to change that. We're going to become smart money. We're going to be looking into assets that we can buy to make us feel like we are actually in strong investments and not gambling. We're done with the gambling. We're on to investments, and we're going to get into that as well. And we're going to get into, there's a new chain. It's called Plasma. It is by Tether. Think about that for a second. Tether. They value themselves at $500 billion, $500 billion, and they launched their own chain. The opportunities for that are going to be endless. And then at 11:30 today, we're going to have the great Stan from Sats Terminal joining us. They have a Bitcoin lending platform where you guys can go through them, and they will aggregate you and find you the best lending that you guys can do, and borrowing as well. So that's to say you have Bitcoin and you don't want to sell that Bitcoin, but you want to get into other assets like Agent Hustle and good stuff like that. Well, now what you can do is you can take your Bitcoin and leverage it, right, at really safe rates, to where if it goes down to 79,000 and gets liquidated, we know that Bitcoin's never going to 79K again, right? It'll barely ever get under 100 if it does. So very safe plays there, but they allow you to get money liquid and then actually get into other assets as well, guys. We have a great show today. So without further ado, I'm bringing my partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
How you doing today, man? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Some of the headlines are pointing towards, Bitcoin maybe kicking things off again to recycle this kind of positive price trend to start back again, right? Always starts with the king, and then a couple weeks later, hopefully Ethereum will start to get really lively, and then we'll see something that's newer in the space. Aster is one of those things that's been in the spotlight, so Aster might actually take the lead in the alt markets outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then that can really trickle down. And there's a lot of events or headlines as well, like you just mentioned with Plasma Chain launching. I think that's really big. It is going to be more of a serious chain, I think. So institutions are going to really like that, and some serious retail traders will like it. But we'll see, if it is open source or like non-permission or permissionless, I should say, then people can build whatever on it, right? So we'll see if it gets any degen activity as well. But a lot of stuff happening, and I think we got to remember that. We got to remember where we are in the game. We're in that kind of last stretch, right? The fourth quarter is about to start, and so we got to get ready and get focused.
Is it the fourth quarter, or is it the first quarter of the game? Because I feel like the fourth quarter of this year is actually just the first quarter of the actual bull market, right? I think we're going to see some huge gains in Q4 of this cycle, but I also think it might just be the first couple innings of a bull run that could last all the way to March or even May.
Yeah, you could play it both ways, though. You could play it, hey, like it's game time. It's time to put your serious hat on in this last quarter of the year, as well as saying, hey, will we possibly get some overtime here, or maybe we extend the series right into next year. So I think it's okay to play it that way as well, to get really serious about. And when I say serious, I'm not saying like get the life sucked out of you. I'm saying serious in the sense of, there's probably going to be some big money coming in terms of institutions, but also retail getting excited for some rate cuts, maybe some liquidity injecting into our space. Airdrops have been mentioned left and right. You're talking about Abstract possibly like pushing that up. We know MetaMask is highly anticipated for their airdrop as well. So there's a lot of things and catalysts that really could get us going. But I agree with you. I don't think 2026 is going to be that typical bear run, start to the bear run type of year. And we probably get something extended, maybe even further than the spring and summer, right? So, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's play what's in front of us. And it's the last quarter of the year, and I think that's important.
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking for selling mango away. That's just kind of how I'm feeling for it. I am not holding assets next summer. I am not holding assets next September. Like I don't want to do anything about that. I don't, that's just kind of how I feel. I'm done with summers. I'm done with Septembers. I am ready for October, November, December, January, February, March. But let's get into the first topic of today, which is our leading thing here. 240 million in Bitcoin ETF inflows. So Bitcoin has inflows, but ETH has outflows, which means they're selling down ETH and they're getting back into Bitcoin. Really interesting there. Circle, reversible USDC, and then SEC Roundtable. I want to get into the first part of, the middle part of there, which is something that really freaking bothers me. So Circle wants reversible stablecoin payments, meaning your decentralized money can be rolled back like a credit card refund. And how they would do that is they would basically have an escrow area where if your payments now would have to go through an escrow. I swear the banking people love having third parties. They love third parties so much. We don't need third parties anymore, but apparently they want it. What do you think about that?
They're just so used to doing business that way, right? Whether, it might be a child company that they've created and they're kind of acting like, they don't really have too much involved with it. But, business relationships in your network can kind of form this way as well. So I get why they have that mentality. It's the way they've done business forever. But, I do think that you're going to have sectors, two main sectors of our space to where they do business a little bit like the old fashioned way. And then the new way where people say, let's kind of like, not use the third party necessarily. But I will say it's going to be hard to stay away from, that type of business because it's third parties a lot of times are more like convenience for the businesses, right, themselves. And so it's going to be interesting to see if they have this like viral effect and they start to kind of get builders that are native to Web3 to say, hey, I'd rather just use this API or something that's more simple, right? It's, I know the dream is to stay decentralized as much as possible. You always will get that for some aspects of it with like the basics of Bitcoin, Monero, stuff like that. But when business comes into the picture, man, money talks, and convenience is a big deal.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, that's one thing amazing about crypto is we have choices. We can use Athena, right, which is a decentralized protocol voted on by the governance token, right? We can use things like USDT, which is saying, hey, F that, we're not complying, we're not passing an audit, we're not doing any of your bullshit. But hey, we'll give you this stable coin, we'll create you a new one, right? But it's not going to be USDT, right? So it's one of those things where we can use USDT, we can use Athena. We can use other stable coins as well. USDC, what is it? USD1, yeah, from those guys over at Willfi. There's going to be hundreds of stable coins, right? We'll get to pick and choose the one that we want. I won't be using Circle anymore. Any USDC will immediately be swapped using MetaMask aggregator, so I can get those points and into stuff like PYUSD and USDT and stuff like that. I won't be holding this Circle trash. I think if we come together and vote with our, we're just not gonna use it.
Yeah, but that's not going to stop them. Do you think it will? Because, if you think about it,
them.
Yeah.
But it's going to give other stable coins more value.
Yeah, having the options is very important. When they try to squeeze that out, I think that's when we got to really start to worry. But, to your point a little bit here, it always has to start somewhere, right? If they have a plan, like an evil plan, right? And one of the harsh realities of capitalism is that, if you dominate the market so much, it almost feels like you're monopolizing it, even if there are only like 3 or 4 big players in that sector. It still feels like a monopoly because there's only 3 or 4, right? The small, medium businesses don't really get to thrive. But I think in this space, you got to always have the option, and when they take that away, that's scary. So you want to always make sure, double check, triple check that our industry always has the option to go decentralized and managing your own everything. Or if you want to have the convenience, then obviously that's going to be there as well.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Let's get into this. The first part of the stuff we have today. So BTC ETF saw 241 million in inflows after 2 days of outflows, while Ethereum saw a lot of outflows. It does feel like today we are seeing inflows in both. I mean, because maybe not in ETH. ETH's down through almost 4%, while Bitcoin's only down 1.8. So it does feel like maybe potentially we're seeing, a flow back into Bitcoin, the cycle kind of restarting. But the only sucky part about the cycle of Bitcoin, Ethereum, large caps, small caps is we didn't see the small caps go this time around. It stopped at the mid caps, right? It stopped at BNB and Solana, and now headed back to Bitcoin. But hey, it's only the first one of a potential 6.
Yeah. But I also think that it grabs some of the ones that are like, teetering on the line of small to mid a little bit, right? Like, for example, I know we talk about Merlin a lot, but it's because we've known the project for so long and we've seen their journey, but they got pulled up out of there and back into the top 150, I think, or something like that. So, and then you see some other stuff like Story Protocol was benefiting pretty immensely. So, yeah, I think it's just a start, like you mentioned, right? A lot of the other ones didn't really see a lot of injection of liquidity. They have time. They have about 3 months to finish out this quarter, or this last quarter. We haven't even gone into it technically yet. But yeah, going back to BTC, I think Benjamin Cohen is right. He was calling for this about 3 weeks ago, though. So if you do want to be a little, ticky tack here, you can say he's late because you can't really say.
He said the back end of September. You've always said the back end of September. Yep, positive.
I thought when he was calling it about 3 weeks ago, he meant at that moment. So maybe I misread that. Okay, so regardless, it's been really hard to say that he's wrong on anything this year, right? But I am starting to see the BTC getting more attention here. I know that people have been really focused on whales selling down Hyperliquid and going into Aster, which they still are, I think, some. But then also they're going in straight into Bitcoin a little bit too. I saw that as a headline. Well, cumulatively, right? And so, and then you see the inflows with ETH having some outflows. And so I just think the cycle's kind of restarting here. Dominance is going to go back up. Bitcoin's going to start to try to hit a new all-time high, and I think it will. Probably not before the month is up, but I think early October. But anything can happen within a span of 2 days in this space. You know that, with
Yeah.
Bitcoin and stuff like that. So I do think Bitcoin kind of rises up here a little bit by itself, and then Ethereum starts to follow up, a bit afterwards, and then we'll start to see those other ones. And it always rotates after that, though. And I know Ethereum just really started to see its strong success back in April, June, July. But after Bitcoin, last quarter 4 of last year, Solana saw the success. Then earlier this year in the summer, June, July, XRP saw the success. Then Solana saw it again later in August. So it's rotating. And I think Aster is obviously that kind of new, exciting thing. So Aster might be the one that's kind of leading it this time up. But the good news is I do think many other altcoins will start to benefit as well.
Yeah, 100%. Aster seems to be the hottest girl at the party right now, right? Hyperliquid was that hot girl, but a hotter girl walked in, and she's in the hands of CZ, right? So everyone's staring at that power couple of Aster and CZ, and we haven't saw a power couple like that since CZ and his last girlfriend BNB, right? So it's one of those things where, and before that it was Bitcoin. So CZ has a track record of always having the hottest girl in the room, and he did it again with Aster. But do you see something like this? So this is Bitcoin dominance, right? We see it right now at 58%. Benjamin Cohn is kind of saying he sees that back above 60, 61, 62 even. But I'm kind of feeling that we go up, hit 60, barely get to that 61 before, because that'll lead us into November, right? I'm expecting November 1st kind of being back at 55. Is that something you can kind of see as well? This kind of playing out.
Oh, it's interesting because the institutions really keep Bitcoin strong, and we haven't seen that super aggressive. Yeah, you go back to that consistent red candle streak right there before, but it's really intense when we go into alt season and previous cycles, and I don't think we've seen that, right? And so, do we get a super intense kind of just like bottoming of the Bitcoin dominance? I'm not so sure, but obviously it is going to be somewhat intense because you got to have that, right? Money has to flow down. It's just how intense does it get? And if it does kind of match from that one where that trend line starts, then we would be around that 54. So I think it's possible to get there. It's possible to get there. But like 54, I think usually when you're talking about alt season, you see that way before. That's intense. You pull back your cursor to the left further, like way further. You see that is super intense. So I don't know if we get that, that type of situation. But if we do, then we know that there's going to be risk on quite a bit.
We've gotten that every bull market though, right?
Yeah.
Like even going back to the 2017 bull market, same thing, right? This thing fell off a cliff. This is a complete cliff fall, and then a bit of a pullback before it eventually came back down here. I don't know what's up with that missing area there, but basically it just came down. But yeah, this is 2017, right? And we all know that 2018 was that real bear market, right? But so it's kind of like we get the bull market. We kind of get the bull market kind of at the bottom, right? Because same thing here, right? It fell off a cliff, but we got the bull market, let's say January, February, and March, right? So I guess it was still falling at that point when this right here. So it was one of those things, and then the bottom, and then Bitcoin just went on this run here. But if you look at it though, this was very, very, upward, right? Like, so I'm actually expecting this in reverse, right? And that's kind of why I'm thinking that we do have a kind of a fall off a cliff moment here and head this back down. But I think it does also depend on the DXY. This is something that we've been looking at for a long time here as well, and this is kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen. And I'm looking kind of right here. We are going to drop, but like the DXY needs to get under that 96, 95 area and kind of get down here, because every single bull run again. Right, this is the 2017. This is when Bitcoin topped right here, right? And this is kind of where the alts kind of topped, and same thing here. This is kind of where Bitcoin, topped a little bit, and July, March, right? And then eventually, the other alts right around here, right on the upward momentum. So it's kind of like I'm hoping to see that again. That W pattern marked the bottom, the U pattern marked the bottom, and I'm kind of expecting a U pattern to mark this bottom as well. And this will kind of lead us right into June of 2026.
Yeah, and even if dominance goes down, aggressively for Bitcoin, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin's going to have a super hard crash, because you have to remember, people are anticipating more and more capital to come into the space as institutions continually adopt our space, right? So if liquidity comes in, but it's just focused on a little bit more risk on stuff, for that alt season time, Bitcoin doesn't have to super hard crash. It's going to pull back some, because the people are going to want to get into those opportunities. But regardless, I think the point that I'm making is I wouldn't worry too much if Bitcoin dominance crashes. Like, it looks like it crashes super hard, because it doesn't mean that Bitcoin's going to have this black swan event or anything like that. It's normal from previous cycles that you pointed out, but even more so to where I think Bitcoin will be okay with dominance crashing is because that there are institutions that hold the ETF, and there's institutions that kind of have this new strategy with the earning from Bitcoin and stuff like that. That's going to be coming up.
Yeah, and to your point, this was a huge crash down, but Bitcoin topped right here, right? When dominance was already, dominance already dropped drastically. So Bitcoin tops when dominance kind of hits the bottom, right? So that's, this whole time Bitcoin was running. This whole time right here, Bitcoin was running. Bitcoin topped that first top in May of 2021. So it just kind of dropped down here, and then that was a top for Bitcoin. So, and then Bitcoin goes up after the top. So that's the dominance kind of goes up after Bitcoin hits the top. So it's one of those things where, and then everything else kind of catches up. And then we have this area of, sideways and then upward only. But yeah, that's, it's anything can happen. Anything new can happen. We have TradFi in this time. It's completely different than we've ever experienced before. So it is definitely fun to kind of take a look at. And that, yeah, let's jump into the last part of the headline here. Kraken, Crypto.com, Kalshi, and Polymarket executives are among the panelists attending the SEC CFTC roundtable on Monday. What do you think about this? What do you think about the SEC CFTC? These are the guys who really control the rules and regulations. Kind of sitting down with Kalshi and Polygon. I kind of expected Kraken, Crypto, Coinbase, and the bigger boys, but having Kalshi and Polygon there, or Polymarket, to predictions market, kind of shows me that gambling is legal here in the U.S. nowadays, and these are the two of the biggest gambling sites that you can have in crypto.
Yeah, but within that headline, it also talks about how they're going to be forming, guardrails a little bit to protect the consumers. I think this is a really good positive thing. Bringing some of these leaders into this roundtable and have clarity with that, right? So if someone does something to where consumers are getting just really wrecked, and it's causing a lot of chaos or whatever, then the SEC can come in with the CFTC and investigate it and say, hey, did it break this kind of guardrail? Did it, was it fair in this aspect, or whatever they're going to say. But I think this is definitely what, I can speak for myself, that people wanted to make the space more acceptable to the masses. You have to remember, there's a big stigma, taboo with crypto, to where people don't feel like it's safe, or they don't feel like it's for retail. They feel like it's easy to lose your money here. And so this will bring a sense of comfort, I think, for more people that are on the line of, hey, I want to try it again, or I want to check crypto out, or Web3 out, digital assets.
Yeah, but yeah, at the same time, though, it's like the people that are using DraftKings and FanDuel now, I mean, they're gamblers at the end of the day, right? 90% of them lose anyway. And that's very similar to what Kalshi and Polymarket is. Gambling is gambling. You can put guardrails on it or not. I can go on right now and put $60,000 on the Rams losing, right? So it's just it doesn't matter. I just don't. It's going to give investors that's what this is all about. It's just for investors, right? To kind of be it's the safeguards, but the safeguards for the person. I mean, if I want to gamble everything I have, I can do that, right? It doesn't matter.
I'm not focused. I'm not focused on the predictions market.
This is not about the consumer, in my opinion. This is about the investor.
Well, I think it needs to be both too, right?
You can't protect the consumer, though.
I'm talking about more of like education. I'm talking about more of, you know, it's weird because they have two centralized exchanges and then they have two predictions markets here. And I don't know if anybody else is invited, but those are the only four that I saw. But you know, in terms of being, you know, educating new people to the space and what the risks are to get into like a decentralized chain and start using swaps and new tokens and all that stuff, you know, I think they're gonna have like stuff for that as well. But I do agree, I do think it's to make um you know, institutions feel more comfortable as well.
Yeah, with
Also,
the
you can
investment.
see there, also you can see there, you know, SEC CFTC harmonization. So they're also trying to kind of work together and
Mhm.
attack this together, which is also a good thing, right? Because now I think they're also going to have more clarity with the securities and non-security type of rhetoric and stuff. That's going to be a lot more clear for people to understand.
Yeah, I just hate that Kalshi and Polymarket even have say in this stuff. I mean, they're gambling websites, but and they're made for Web2 users, right? If you go to DraftKings, it feels exactly like you're on Polymarket. Like you can sign in, you can create an account. It's the same exact thing. I don't like that these that crypto is looked at as a gambling hub. Like I don't like that. These are just two better ways to gamble, right? Because you're actually using blockchain and you're not using third parties and everything's done the right way there. But at the same time, I don't want gambling sites to have say in any of the rules. I want crypto to be looked at as more than gambling, as like a new way of putting the monetary policy and everything on chain and stuff like that. I want it to be more legit, and I just keep feeling like we're throwing gambling sites into that.
Yeah, well, we kind of created that situation, or like the space created the situation for the public to already think that way on every
Yeah.
single level too. You know, you're talking about from the centralized exchanges to, you know, a lot of the rugging that was happening in the beginning in 2020 and 2021 with the, you know, scammed contracts and the proxy contracts and all that stuff. And that wasn't that bad, but 2020 or like now that we're getting into like the pump fund era and stuff like that, they don't have the scammy contracts, but what they do have is like just pretty much like expert versus like toddler is what it is, right? Like these people using bots. So I understand why the public thinks that way. And yeah, you know, getting away from like the predictions markets can help with the I guess perception from the public. But you know, we got to fix a lot in terms of like the public perception, in my opinion.
We
You know,
fixed it. I mean, it's already fixed with Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff like that. And you're seeing these big TradFi companies getting in, and they're staying with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, right? And I just feel like throwing these two back into the mix here, we're not the same as we were in 2021. It's a different world of crypto. It's a different builders. It's different. Like a lot of the builders from 2021 are gone. Right, you're only seeing the more successful ones. The BlockFi's are dead. The Celsius are dead. All the Ponzi schemes seem to be out of it now. But we keep just trying to push gambling on the normal people. You know what I mean? And I think this is not healthy for the SEC to even have a roundtable with these two in there. I think that we should have Coinbase in there. We should have, legit projects like Base Chain and these other ones. I don't want to hear anything from Polymarket and Kalshi and even some of these, leverage trading platforms. Like I don't want to hear from them. I want to hear from legit businesses, ways of doing stuff. I don't like this at all.
So I agree with you because I think that's what's going to push things forward. But I don't agree with you in terms of there's not these Ponzi situations anymore. They still exist,
Where?
like for
Give me an
example,
example.
it's more of like vaporware still exists, right? Like
Not Ponzi's though. Yeah.
yeah, but that still
Ponzi's are
hurts people.
illegal. There's vaporware in every aspect of TradFi.
Well, I mean, I consider like Ponzi's to be vaporware, and then also vaporware themselves are just like, you know, people hyping up a project that never exists or doesn't roll out or can't do
But you
what they
see that in
do.
TradFi. It's the same thing.
Yeah, you do see it in TradFi, but they're educated enough to stay away from a lot of that stuff. Some people do get risky and then they go into some of the things. Yeah, I agree. The reason why I tell you this is because I have direct evidence. I've had people come up that have dabbled in crypto the last cycle, and then they said, I tried to get back into it, you know, in 2024, and I got into like this horse racing thing that like completely went to zero. Or I got into like this thing, and I don't want to mess with it. I'm just scared at this point, you know, because I want the opportunity of like the large X's, but like Like it seems like there's just so much out there that doesn't have substance. And I do agree that like having people at the table that's more serious and more of the future type of thing is going to change that. But that stuff still exists very much so. But I do think that like day by day, we are getting better. Like, you know, people are talking about the right stuff. Like on our show, we talk about RWA stuff. We talk about, you know, robotics is maybe something that like has something of AI for sure. There's products that are in the AI sector with crypto that is very legitimate. So it's getting better, but some of those people that were burnt from the previous cycles, they still have like really bad PTSD.
They were burnt because they were gambling, right? They were burnt because they were gambling.
There's still stuff to gamble on.
But that's what I'm saying, though. It's like we want to get away from that. When someone came up to me and said that to me, I'd be like, "Well, buy Tau. Tau is probably going to be has a halving this year. It's a legit project. It's decentralized. It's Bitcoin, right? If you tell them, hey, buy Aave. Aave is a bunch of loans. There is crypto that's not gambling, right? There is crypto that will be here in 20 years, and we have to structure the mindset of these people. Like if you're coming in here and buying 1,000x opportunity, there's a 99% chance you're throwing your money in the trash can, unless you can talk to the team, unless you can have, you know, sit there and talk to people like Jake and talk to people like the Artura guys and stuff like that, and just know where their mindset is. If you're talking to anonymous people using an X account, that project is not legit, you know? So I think we got to get away from that mindset. There's plenty of opportunities in crypto, 1,000x opportunities, but they're not in this cycle. The 1,000x opportunities, buy now and hold for 12 years. Buy now and hold for 20 years. Those opportunities exist, and we have to get away from the gambling mindset. But it's kind of this entire point, right?
Yeah, and to go back to something you just said, the you know, businesses that actually are related to like legitimate gambling, I guess you could say, like Polymarket and Kalshi, those are actually safer than like doing all these crazy like, oh, this new project popped up and it sounds so amazing.
Buying the actual project itself, but you can't.
Well, yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah. But this is good. We're definitely moving into the right direction. I will say that.
Exactly.
Like, we're moving into the
like
right
I would
direction.
buy Polymarket coin. Like I would buy Kalshi coin, but I don't want no part of the actual platform itself. I wouldn't sign up for an account, and I mean it's gambling. It's gambling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, strategically, some people have done really good, you know, in terms of
good gamblers out there, but still 99% of gamblers lose. And I'm not 1% of anything. What makes you think I'm 1% of Polymarket?
I actually think that like Polymarket, like strategy wise, with a lot of the stuff with like the Fed cutting and stuff like that, like people probably had a really, if you studied it and researched it, you had a pretty easy play, you know, year right with that. So I don't know, but yeah, we are moving in the right direction, and I do agree. Let's get some more serious, and not saying they're not serious in terms of revenue generating, because they obviously Kalshi and Polymarket generate a ton of revenue, but it's, you know, maybe not have the predictions markets be a headline, you know, type of thing, because regular people that are trying to get into it, they're going to read the headlines and they're going to say, what's Kalshi? Oh, it's like predictions market, you can bet. You know what I mean? That's where I agree with you on.
Yeah, and I think, you know, having projects like our next guest, right, with Sats Terminal, right? This is a project that potentially down the line could do something in the crypto ecosystem, meaning the coin and stuff like that, and getting into like actual real projects with real opportunity. I mean, that's 100x, but you don't need to go and, you know, put like, hey, I think, you know, Bitcoin's going to be this price at this time, or hey, I think Jerome Powell's going to get fired in January. It's completely gambling, right? It's going to get it's these type of situations where it's like you can be the greatest gambler, but when stuff's manipulated, right? There's nothing you can do. When your quarterback is given, you know, $1 million to flop in the fourth quarter, there's nothing you can do, right? So, and that stuff does happen. It does happen. It's heavily manipulated, and I think staying away from prediction markets is the best thing to do. But hey, investing in prediction markets and the actual market itself is genius, because people are degenerate gamblers and can't stop, right? So, but it is what it is here. But yeah, man, let's kind of jump right into the next thing here, which is going to have our great friend Owen from Sats Terminal. We got Stan down below. Let's bring up Stan. Stan, welcome back to OnChain Evolution. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
Hello.
How are you doing, sir?
Good.
Were you able to sign in to the X?
Yeah, I'm doing that right now. I just
should have gave you more time. But let's kind of while you do that, let's kind of take a look at something real quick. So you guys just had a massive upgrade upgrade to your site here, and it looks phenomenal. So this is satsterminal.com. It looks absolutely amazing. You know, coming from where it was to where it is, I mean, you can kind of hover over these and kind of see what's going on. So let's do that. You can trade and swap runes and alkanes, swap and trade Spark tokens. We talked about that last week. Absolutely huge that you guys will be the aggregator for that, because there's going to be a lot of different dexes, Luminex, UTXO.fun, and now Magic Eden. Borrow, choose the best rate for your Bitcoin backed loan, and stake, earn positive yield on your Bitcoin. Absolutely amazing, man. Great job on this site.
Thank you. I really like it. It's like minimalistic, but you know, it's still like kind of same vibes as we had before, similar style, but we added a little bit more products. I mean, we are already on the market for 1 year. We've been building. Time to add a little bit more tabs, no?
Can you give us and the audience some alpha here about the Spark tokens? Not necessarily when you guys are going to go live, but are you getting a feeling or hearing anything about when the Spark ecosystem is going to start to, you know, allow people to mint tokens and degen with these launch pads?
To be honest, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. I know that like every single day we're chatting with the guys, and every single day there's some technical updates. Yeah, but I bet like it's a tremendous amount of work on their side. If I think about it, like when you're building that kind of ecosystem, you want to have so many participants. A lot of fundamentals should work properly. So yeah, I guess
Gotcha.
that's on their side, but they're building nonstop, and we are actually ready to deploy the product very, very soon. I was just chatting with our lead developer who's working on the Spark part side of things, and we will probably be able to release something very, very soon. I don't like to say next week, but next week.
You don't like to say it, but you did.
Yeah.
So I feel like I haven't felt like an anticipation in the Bitcoin ecosystem as much as I'm feeling with the Spark token standard. And, you know, you have really big brands in the ecosystem, and, you know, Magic Eden's a big brand across all of Web3, right? That are kind of saying, hey, look, these launch pads are coming, and they all have their own unique identifier on their contract. So it reminds me a lot of Solana. Do you feel like this is going to live up to kind of this anticipation hype? We haven't had this kind of situation in a very, very long time. So what are your thoughts on that?
Man, I don't know. It's hard to predict, right? But like you look at like some of the basics that you see from that project, and like you see a strong team, people know what they're doing. They have solid technical background. They have funding. They have already successful business lines that are operating. The people that are directly connected to Spark, they've been building some of the best services that we use every single day, that billions of people use every single day. So I think, yeah, well, it will definitely work. It will definitely work. In terms of distribution, we had today a podcast earlier in the morning with Fluid Tokens, and we were talking about Spark as well. And I think what they did is they started working on distribution earlier. They started talking actively about Spark in May around Bitcoin Las Vegas. And it's already end of September. It's been like 4 or 5 months already. So they're doing a lot of teasing. They were building the distribution channels. The guys from Spark team were going on every single pod, every single spaces. They are talking at every single Bitcoin event. So I think that's the right way to do. Like people initially they were asking, oh, what is Spark? Now everyone knows what it is. So that's definitely a good marker. And I think we're in good hands. Let's see how the launch goes, but I'm very, very positive. And to be honest, I'm very bullish because I'm happy that new innovation is coming. You can hate it or love it, like that they're Bitcoin L2s, but innovation is coming. Activity is coming to community. People want to do something. People want to go speculate. People want to, whatever, just see new things. That's extremely important.
100%. And you got to remember David Marcus, former, Facebook guy over there helping build the Libra project. And, I think he has PayPal background as well.
Yeah.
Huge guy. He knows money, right? He knows what works and what doesn't work. And then his son, Ethan, who's kind of pushing the I think it's Flash, right? What's it called?
Flashnet.
Yeah.
Flashnet. Yeah, he's pushing Flashnet. He's like the head designer behind that. He's building that on his dad product, which is Spark, right? And which is phenomenal. So these guys, but the best part about that, they chose Sats Terminal to be the aggregator, right? They chose you. They could have went outside the ecosystem and got someone else to aggregate this, but they chose Sats Terminal. And it kind of really shows something about what you guys have built there.
That's a nice way to look at it. I was not thinking about it like that. I think it's more like
Mutual.
No, of course it's mutual, but like I like it. That's a very nice story. Like they chose us. Like
you were the best available.
You're the best aggregator. Let's go do it. I think it also requires a lot of effort from our side. But
100%.
Absolutely, if there is no relationship in place, then probably you will not be getting response as fast as we get. And I think that's an advantage. And I think what we managed to build from last year to now is that right now, if we approach people, they want to have a conversation. And some people are approaching us. That's true. They want to work. They want to integrate. And I think a year ago, it was a little bit different. It was a little bit different. So good to have a brand. What I can say.
Well, it actually makes the Sats Terminal product like the premium product, in my opinion, because you have like these Spark BTKN tokens that end in EMI. You have them end in HODL. You have them end in whatever UTXO.fund is going to do, right? So 3 different type of contracts, and they're all going to be aggregated to one spot. So you don't have to kind of like be flustered if you're in a rush to get one of these tokens that are hot. But it reminds me of the tooling from Solana, like GMGN, right? So where you can see like, what stage they're in, and then, are they brand new? Are they about to bond and then just finished? Could you see Sats Terminal having a product like that as well, integrated in to where you have all those, but then there are all of the contracts from all 3 launch pads and maybe more than that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think like we should probably start with something like, let's aggregate all of the trading activity, ensure that you have access to all of the platforms, pools, whatever, how we would do it, but just have access to all of the liquidity in the network. And then, I mean, like at least adding the graphs, at least adding some basic trading tools is required, right? But we start with a very simple and familiar for everyone swap interface. I think that's what needed right now. And then as platform progress, probably we would be leaning more to adding features for traders. Because if you see that people are using swap, people are in the ecosystem, you need to give them tools so they can speculate. In the end of the day, it's all about just buying, selling, holding, selling, then a little bit later. So,
yeah, man, 100%. And you guys can request early access. Just come to Sats Terminal, click the Sparks tab, like we just did. And you guys can request access there. But not just that, you guys are working with Spark another way too. You guys announced last week. We won't spend too much time with this, but potentially you guys are going to be helping out with the bridging of runes to Spark.
Yeah,
that was absolutely amazing to hear. You kind of teased that on our show. You said, "Hey, we're doing something with it, but we can't say." What was that? Can you explain exactly what you guys are doing with the runes?
Yeah, so we are working on bridge to send runes to Spark, and then you can exchange like any rune to Spark token. Or ideally, we would also have later maybe the same old loved runes on Spark as well, so you can bridge doc to doc, for example, or pups to pups. I think that might be a reality later down the line, but I don't know anything about it. Bridge. It's something that came up very naturally because this is a part of the ecosystem that has to exist. Someone has to build it. We already have existing distribution users and part of the technology, right? So we can take on it. And with the bridge right now, it's still in the phase where we are deciding how exactly want to build the whole architecture. Well, like we have it sort of done, but also the bridge works a little bit differently, and we need to make sure that everything is secure. And when you would be bridging your favorite dog to whatever other token, everything will go smoothly and nice. But yeah, you would be able to bridge any Rune to Spark tokens.
Incredible. Let's talk about the next thing. We hit on runes, we hit on the Spark token. Let's hit on the next biggest thing that you guys are doing here, which potentially could be the absolute number one thing that you guys have, which is the Bitcoin-backed loans. And you guys come here, you click on that right there. It takes you to usehedge.com. Phenomenal, by the way. The site looks again. It has your everything. I love that you guys have your own like pattern of UI, right? And it's just like it's one
minimalistic.
It looks, yeah, exactly. I love it. But what can you tell us about usehedge.com?
Yeah, absolutely. It's aggregated. It's Bitcoin-backed loans product. Like we aggregate a couple of protocols. Currently, we're working with Morpho and Aave. And what our product does is that instead of going and bridging and wrapping Bitcoin yourself, you just deposit BTC directly, and then within one block confirmation, you're getting stables to your in-platform wallet. And the whole infrastructure is like top-notch, best security standards right now, because if you look the platform, you don't need to connect the wallet. You sign up with your email, and then we create for you Privy powered embedded wallet. And Privy, if listeners don't know, Privy is a big company, infrastructure company that was bought by Stripe some time ago for undisclosed amount of money, but probably in hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billion. And they power a lot of infrastructure in this space, top-notch security, also 2FA, you get the codes to your email. So you have it pretty much on the platform, and then once you get the loan, you get your borrowed stables directly into the platform wallet. And then from there on the dashboard, you can manage your loan, see what is the health of the loan, see other metrics. And I would say that if you compare it, I don't know, you go through Morpho itself or through Aave, it would be much more difficult to take a loan there, because you would need to do a lot of like unnecessary steps. With us, is pretty much just deposit, get staples, that's it. And absolutely, this is like the biggest for us right now. It started with the loans product. We think that right now people want to utilize Bitcoin more. So here.
Gotcha. So Stan, let me ask you, do you think that you guys will be able to support at an enterprise level for this type of product? Because I think retail users are going to be interested in this, but I also think that institutions, whether they're medium, small, or even larger, are really looking for a place to park their Bitcoin. You have it on Ethereum. It's really easy to kind of keep the, chain secure. That's how they do it. But over here, you need the product. So do you think you guys can support like enterprise level?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I know how enterprise companies like with centralized custody work. Like they use pretty much same principles. A lot of them also go to Aave and Morpho. Just the difference is that you're signing a paper with them that says that if something happens bad with the underlying protocol, will guarantee you money, or there's some sort of guarantees. But at the same time, Aave is protocol that is live for how many years? 5-6 years. They never got hacked, and they did 3 updates to the system. I think right now it's V3. So they did, and doing update to the system and not missing something, not getting hacked, it's a big job. So I think we are working with a very, very trusted partners. Then wallet technology is provided by Privy. It's institutional grade, 10 billion million times audited product. So I would say that we can easily support it. And then if you are doing it with us, you don't pay us origination fee. We just charge a small bridging fee, and that's it. And then everything is transparent. All of the terms go up front. You see them through the loan calculator. Then before you approve the loan, you go through a couple of steps to go through the terms again. Then you have everything in the dashboard. If your loan approaching dangerous health or close to liquidation, we plan to also give you different types of notifications. And eventually, like, I see this product evolving into like one go-to shop to do everything with Bitcoin. If you think about it, you already can trade swap tokens with us. We will also add Spark. And like, as an aggregator, we're well positioned to get all of the new innovation, L2s, meta protocols that are coming to Bitcoin to integrate on our aggregated swap product. And then you have loans. And of course, eventually we want to also give you options. So you get stables, you can spend them. You get stables, you can, I don't know, deploy them into Vault and earn more APY than you're paying for your loan. And things like that. Just have one platform to do everything with Bitcoin.
Yeah, 100%. And you guys are basically competing with Coinbase, right? But Coinbase is doing it in a centralized way. You're going through their centralized exchange. They're going to let you take a loan, and they're using Morpho. The same thing you guys are using, but in a decentralized way. And you guys give them the option if, because Coinbase isn't letting you get the option, they're doing Morpho. And the more loans that Morpho does, the less the opportunity is there to make more or get a better loan. Going through something like Aave and stuff in the future probably is going to be the best bet, because, Morpho is going to have so many loans because of Coinbase. So you guys are going to make sure they get the best rates and everything else going forward. And that's something that's pretty awesome as well.
Yeah, but also there are more protocols, right? And as long as we build, the time passes, some of the newer protocols, they mature, they get their traction, they get their audits, they get their, you want to integrate only battle-tested products that lasted at least some time on the market, because risk of like integrating something and then that protocol goes down, like everyone still remembers what happened with Celsius. What was the other one? CFI. I don't remember the name.
Three Arrows.
Yeah.
Oh, Blockify. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
there's a great point that you made about Aave too. They've been around for 5 years and they haven't had an exploit, but now even more so, they're focused on like, releasing more resources to make sure that doesn't happen, because, let's say 10, 15 years down the line, they want to keep that reputation, because the more like enterprise support that they have on a centralized or a decentralized level, it doesn't matter. They just want that's more revenue for them in terms of fee generation and all this stuff. So I think we get into a really good place with Bitcoin staking, because and I love the fact that you guys are offering this, because some people might be a little bit too stubborn on the maxi side and say, well, I don't really want to, go that route of cross chain at all. But you just explained it. It's like, Aave, there's no way they're going to not continually pour resources into their security model. So,
yeah. No, I mean, I think like also a couple of features that we were designing when we were thinking about security. Security is unbelievably important, especially if it's not a degen user, but someone like a high net worth individual or any crypto institution. They would be looking at two things: how much money you pay for the loan and how secure that is. That's it. Like, I don't think they would care about. I mean, of course, the simplified user experience, it's more for retail. And I think for retail, it's beautiful. But institutional level, right now we're discussing with a couple of partners and we're getting quite a positive feedback. But different companies have different set of features they want to see in the product like that. So, for example, if we would be approaching like bigger integrations, or we would see that, okay, we are getting to a massive multi-billion-dollar partner, then of course we would tailor the product to them, or maybe that can be a white label solution on the basis of what we already built. But in the end of the day, what is important is that we're not only making bet on the infrastructure part, we want to build a proper front end so people can get to the front end and you can truly own that user. Yeah, I think the B2C flow is extremely important for products like this, because imagine you go to Hedge or Sats Terminal borrow, then you get your stables and you have many different options what you can do with those stables. Eventually, like, have a card, withdraw those stables, spend them, put them into Vault.
Yeah, man.
I have mobile app also. I think that's something that we would be exploring. And I'm not sure if we were talking about mobile app, but I think a couple of months ago I was mentioning that we had a mobile app to buy Bitcoin, and it's on App Store. So we would use that as the foundation to build mobile for the loans product. So there's a lot of plans, and the more you think about it, the more things you want to build.
Yeah, I downloaded it. I downloaded it.
Yes.
So you guys were telling me like, hey, it's like a better version of Cash App, and I was like, huh? What's this? So I started messing around with it and stuff. But you guys recently had a huge milestone, 150 Bitcoin. I don't think people realize how much money that is, but it's a lot of money. Could you kind of go into what that milestone is?
Yeah, just today we had the 150 BTC total volume on swaps, and that's great news. That's a lot of users, man. That's 21,300, I think, transactions at this point. People are transacting every single day, despite like all of the FUD happening. Like there's no liquidity. It's coming. Like we still see flow. And I remember we were talking like a month ago whether that was like the lowest week, the lowest month for runes. Like since then, volume kind of like tripled.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because like market caps are not thriving over there, but that's good that people are, that the usage is increased. But I can't imagine what your usage is going to look like once Sparks goes live as well, and that's the great thing. You guys really did an amazing job by taking advantage of an opportunity, which I'm shocked that like it wasn't oversaturated for the aggregation. But you guys have rolled out almost like seamlessly, and now you're going to have another opportunity because it doesn't matter who wins this fungible token war for you guys. You guys are here just to support the infra to allow users to be able to get in and out.
Yeah, support the innovation. Like people want to go and people want to buy tokens. They want to have easy access to solutions. We are here to provide that.
Yeah, man. So how's everything with the team? How's our guy Rashab doing? What's he working on these days? What's the #1 priority right now with Sats Terminal?
Man, right now we need to we need to finish so many things. It's just crazy. Like #1 priority, okay, I can tell you, getting users to the loans product, getting users that would take the loan end to end, go through the full experience and tell us, did they like it, what they liked it, what they disliked. I think like it's very important to do that white glove onboarding initially, so you get a little bit of sense of what you're building. And for us, this product is like a baby. You absolutely like it. And you're biased. You would be telling Aaron, this is the best product, especially if you're fundraising. And I'm semi in fundraising mode all of the time. So you're always like bullish on what you're building. Of course, you wouldn't be doing that otherwise. So you need to get some people that can tell you, hey, actually, we don't understand this part. Oh, this was a little bit difficult. Or maybe we can change the wording. I don't understand what I do with, collateral, or maybe we can add some feature for stable coins. So I think that this part is the most important right now. But we got a couple of power users already that were sort of our users on Sats Terminal, some of the people that we know from the past, from different projects and collaborations, and the traction is coming already. Like even today, someone took a loan against 0.6 BTC collateral, which is quite a significant loan.
Yeah, that's a good size. 60% of a full Bitcoin there.
Yeah.
So you guys feel like you're pretty close. You're getting there pretty close to where it's going to be something that starts to catch that momentum.
Absolutely. Right now, what we're expecting is that with the loans product, I think what will help us to capture the momentum is doing big business-to-business integrations. Same playbook that we did with Swap. You always want to start, if you have that opportunity, you can start with the B2B stuff. You can get the brand trust, put the brand out, and then focus on obtaining users to your platform. But we are cooking right now a couple of ideas how we can get people that were using Sats Terminal, our swaps, can go to loans and enjoy a lot of benefits. Like one of the ideas is very lucrative referral program that would help people to just bring a couple of friends and make passive income for months to come. a very decent income, actually a fair split with the platform, and yeah, a bunch of other activities.
Yeah, referral approach definitely stuck out to me right away before you said that. So I'm excited to learn about that because I want to get involved with that, get some people on board and earn a little bit. Would that be paid directly out in Bitcoin, or would it be some sort of other current, like stable? How would you guys approach that?
We need to think about it, but likely I feel like claimable mechanism is the best. Like you accrue, let's say, X amount of rewards, and then you can withdraw them after a certain threshold. I don't think you need to limit that with time, just a certain threshold. Whether the fees would be in Bitcoin or stables, probably will do it in Bitcoin.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah, no, definitely in Bitcoin. Definitely in Bitcoin.
So right now you guys are aggregating the Bitcoin back loans. Will you guys ever maybe do ETH? Like if I had ETH, I wanted Ethereum, I want to come through your site, because I mean I can go do it myself, right? But if I want to do it this like a fast-paced way, could I eventually take a loan against Ether in the same site?
No, I don't think so. I don't believe that ETH is that type of collateral that you can use for loans. Like honestly, I feel like Bitcoin is, everyone knows that this is incredibly valuable something. Everyone wants to have it. ETH, sure, there are a lot of people that support all the DeFi's happening on EVM. But when you think about collateral loans, and yeah, I mean, Bitcoin has more weight, like mentally even.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the next evolution of it after store of value, right?
Exactly.
So
it's like with gold. It's like with gold. Like when gold started getting value, and then when the money was introduced, like people started back then already using gold to like, let's put gold and I'll give you some local currency, and then that kind of credit to gold operation happened. And I think right now I was actually looking at, I was Googling that the whole market cap of the gold loans is $220 billion as of now. Nice. And the whole market cap of all of the gold with the all-time high price is 26 trillion. And even if you look at that, like Bitcoin loans market is underserved at least 2x if you compare those numbers. And I think like comparing Bitcoin to gold is, you can't find a better comparison. It's just like asset that gained popularity, that became ultimate collateral, ultimate store of value.
Yeah, it'll accelerate too, because like taking a loan out against your gold is probably not the easiest process, right? So like taking it out against Bitcoin, it's already set up there right in front of your interface with your your computer and all that stuff, or whatever you use, your mobile device. So I think that acceleration actually can surpass the ratio of gold loans against market cap, but obviously it has to start somewhere, and you guys are part of that, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Bitcoin-backed loans market is projected to grow something like 500% in the next 6 years. Currently, it's sitting at like, let's say, 10, 12 billion dollars. And by 2031, I saw a report, a lot of researchers are saying it would grow to 50 to 60 billion dollars. But it can accelerate even faster. We don't know what can happen in the meantime.
Yeah. And we do know that Saylor wants to take out a loan on all his Bitcoin. He just needs a good place to do that, right? Maybe he'll choose Sats Terminal.
Call me, Michael
one
Saylor.
Day. But Stan, man, this has been absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for giving us, our viewers, your time here. And we'd love to give you the stage one last time. Is there anything left for you to say?
Yeah, guys, go take loans. Give me feedback. I'll reply to all of you. Like, if you want to get white glove support from CEO, I think that's the time. Just go do it. I'll do your support or answer your tickets. If you want for me to stay with you in live chat at 2 a.m. my time, let it be. I'll just do it. Take loan. We need your feedback. We will get it regardless, but the more feedback we get now, the better for us, while it's work in progress and we are changing things every single day.
Yeah, man, you're not going to get that from the Coinbase's CEO, right? But you'll get it from the Sats Terminal CEO for sure.
Let's go. Exactly.
Thank you so much, Stan. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Right. Take it easy.
Absolutely awesome, man. I love Stan. Those guys over there are lucky to have someone like him for sure, man. 100%. And guys, go over here. You guys get the best loan on your Bitcoin 100% of the time. Make sure you guys are checking it out. Use hedge.com. You guys can get everything from satsterminal.com and then kind of go from there as well. But a lot more to cover here. Is really just one again, really want to say I really appreciate Stan for giving us time.
Yeah, I'm excited for that loan product, and I'm really excited for the Sparks thing, and hopefully it's not a letdown in terms of the token standard and all that stuff. But I have a feeling it's going to be exciting. I feel like it's going to attract some people to the ecosystem.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Let's jump into the crypto fear and greed here. So it's looking a little better than yesterday. Yesterday, dude, I saw it yesterday. I was miserable. Like I watched it back and I saw my face when I saw 39 and I was like, ugh. Like it was like I saw it in slow motion. It was crazy. So last week we're at 51. Yesterday we're at obviously like I said 39. A little higher than yesterday. Where do you think we are?
41.
Boom, got on the nose there. 41. Like if you would have told me last week we were at 41, I'd be like, yeah. But if you would told me yesterday as we were at 41, I'd be like, okay, I can deal with it. Because seeing 39, I don't know what it was, man. I guess because 39 is fear and 41 is neutral. Maybe that did it to me, but I felt awful yesterday, kind of going into that. So, but definitely feeling better today, 100%. How you feel with the 41? Do you think we get back into the 50s very soon, or do you think maybe we see some more fear?
I think it'll be a slow rise back up. I think Bitcoin's gonna kind of show some strength. You know, whether it's gonna be heading into the weekend or start next week. I think that it's going to start flipping here. I mean, I feel like that's what a lot of the data that's coming in is indicating, right? Is that people are getting out of some of these altcoins and getting into Bitcoin, getting out of ETH, getting into Bitcoin. Not the Tom Lees necessarily, but some of these maybe retail wells, maybe some of these other institutions trying to get into Bitcoin before it hits a new all-time high. So that's how I feel. I feel like a slow rise up would make sense. You know, next week we head into the first days of October, right?
Yeah, we are about 6 days away. Next Wednesday will be the first. So
Yeah.
sure.
I think it's perfect timing to kind of head into October with some strength for Bitcoin, but maybe not like that crazy blow off the top new all-time high strength, but heading towards there. You gotta start somewhere, right? And I think maybe this is the very, very beginning parts of that.
100%. Let's jump into the next thing here, which is the Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura.finance. Artura, these guys are building something truly special at Artura.finance. But today, we are lucky enough to announce that their TGE is live. Congratulations, little guys. I knew how hard they worked. They're live on Base Chain. And you guys can go over to Artura.finance right now to use the platform. So let's just say you wanted to earn potential tokens instead of buy them. You can do that, and you can do that through Artura. And let me show you guys exactly how you go to Artura.finance. And then the first thing you want to do is kind of go up to compete. This compete button is going to show you the leaderboard. If you guys can get the top spot, which is doable, definitely doable at 433 hours. Seriously, like a few trades can get you there. This guy did 2. And then if you want to grind it out like this guy did, he did 26 trades and got that there. Sorry about that. I had a sneeze. But so then all you got to do is get in the top 5. You're almost guaranteed some winning there. They're giving away 20,000 Artura tokens. So you definitely want to be a part of that. Then you guys can go to trade here. And that'll actually take you to trade. You to 2 assets you can trade are Bitcoin and Ethereum for now. But we're hearing they're going to be adding some stuff very, very soon. I think, potential stocks and stuff as well. So it's not just going to end there. These guys got to think. These guys are very similar to Hyperliquid and Aster. So you got to definitely got to give them a try right now. And let's jump into their TGE announcement here as well. So ARA is live on Base, the native token powering Artura. Bitcoin's fastest perp DEX is officially live on Base. They give you the contract address, and users can now trade ARA on Aerodrome. And let's kind of check out how they're doing here. Man, wow. What a run up for these guys.
Is that the hour chart?
Yeah,
Yep.
This is the hourly. I can go to the drive it down a little bit. But yeah, what a run up. A couple huge candles here. Had the initial pop, and then you saw the snipers probably get out, and now you're seeing actual natural buying power right now. So congratulations, these guys. $36 million market cap, still super low, especially compared to the billions Aster and what's the name
the IDO people made out like a bandit. Is that's not FDV value, FDV market cap either, right? That's circulating.
No, this is FDV. They only do FDV on Dextrainer. Yeah.
Okay, so it's more than double than where it was. So but still, you know, at least 2-3x from the IDO price. But yeah, excited. Congratulations to those guys. You can get that contract address if you're interested in that on their X account. And then Aerodrome. So we're gonna be playing with some new stuff. You know, Aerodrome. Well, not new necessarily, but Aerodrome is going to be more and more used as they're very highlighted by the base chain and stuff like that. So we're going to do a tutorial on how to use that DEX as well.
Yep. You guys can check out this. Go over to their X account, and you guys can check out. But we're going to get into some Bitcoin and crypto price action.
Yes, sir. But before we do that, help us out here on the YouTube side. Smash that like for us. Subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on so you know when we go live Monday through Friday. And then on the X side, let's share this space. Let's get as many people in here as possible. Abstract as well. Share that link for us over there. Twitch and Kick as well as Spotify. Let's take a look here at some price action. It looks like Bitcoin, you know, hit a support level on the way down, and which is good, right? Because we are hearing a lot of, you know, news and stuff, or headlines, I should say, with, you know, people going out of other tokens and coming into Bitcoin. So, you know, Benjamin Cohen had called this 3 weeks ago about, you know, Bitcoin dominance going back up. And I think we are going to start that cycle over again, which is, in my opinion, that's a good thing. I know everybody wants alts and stuff to thrive right now, but we got to restart things heading into October, and it starts with Bitcoin. So let's take a look. You can see right here the support level. It did really catch that knife, and then it's bounced back off the top. So that's a good sign for sure. It didn't continually bleed and break through that level. You can see here on the MACD too, on the hour chart, looks like we want to go up further, right? And you know, it's definitely looks like a good setup for the stochastics as well. We are sitting at that 77 actually point mark for the fast line here, about to cross back over the overbought territory, but that doesn't mean that it's going to turn right back down. We'll probably hang out here for a while. You know, the next level I think that we got to pay attention to is, you know, this level up here, right? This level up here. If we can break above this, which is the 113, 155, then we kind of broke through this previous resistance level. And then, of course, that shoots us up to the 113, 750, right? But first, let's kind of, you know, focus on where we are right now. And it looks like we are trying to turn this around, at least on the hour chart. And that is going to give us some positive price action, in my opinion, for the next 2, 4, 6, possibly up to 8 hours, right? 2-4 hours for sure is what I'm thinking, unless we get like a direct kind of open back up here. But I don't really see anything that's giving me reason for that. If we're going here to grab some of this data for support and resistance, let's bring it up to the one more right there is perfect. Okay, yes, at the 111,680 mark, support is you know, winning this battle here. Below though, resistance does take back over, and it takes over at the 116,600. It takes over at the 116,550 until support kind of really gets a little bit more of that advantage back at 111,480, right? So in this area right here, we need to pop up here, get through and above as well. We're having support kind of win that as well in these lower volume areas. So if we do get some good buy orders, definitely can see something like pushing through to that 112 area again. So let's see if that happens. But we do need to dominate the area that we're in right now and get this kind of confirmation of this fast line crossing over the slow line, the orange line here, and coming out of sell pressure and officially starting that MACD green candle there to give us some confidence, right? Some confirmation. Well, not necessarily confirmation, but confidence that we have, technically switched momentum to buy pressure there. Going into the 4 hour here. 4 hours a little tricky. It doesn't necessarily look too great, but again, we've had a lot of sell pressure going back to the 13th of this month with very little buy pressure. So this could be a little bit of a fake out on the 4 hours, trying to make people think that we are going back into sell pressure. But if we do get that strong push up on the hour chart, we get back above 112. Head towards 112.5, this could reverse here and go back into buy pressure, because we haven't had a dominating buy pressure session really since, if you go back to it's starting on the 7th of this month. So that is the 4 hour chart for you guys. We are heading into the weekend, and you guys know how I feel about weekends. I don't feel really super great about being super bullish on a Thursday and Friday, because Saturdays is kind of a chop day typically. But the daily as well, kind of staying in that sell pressure here, but it's not super aggressive. So we could kind of have a shortened sell pressure session on the daily chart for Bitcoin. Maybe we do kind of finish it out like on Sunday, right? So we just kind of go sideways with a little bit of uptrend until Sunday, and then we get a little bit more aggressive heading into next week. But maybe the first half of next week will still be kind of sideways, because it is the end of September, closing that up, and then the beginning of October starts Wednesday, and then finish the week out that way a little bit stronger. Maybe that will be how things play out there. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum on the hour, this is a good setup. If we can get some buy pressure here, we can start this strong buy pressure session, but it looks pretty weak right now because you see a little bit of a green candle here. I do think Bitcoin's going to lead the way, though. I truly think that Bitcoin's going to lead the way. We're back below 4,000 as well, barely, but we have officially broken down below. And if we look at, I guess this would be a support level going all the way back to this area, the 4,000 area. But below that, we got to go to 38.88, right? So let's hope that we don't fall too far here, because it's not like there's not really any super strong support levels that we hit previously in these lower areas. You're talking about the next one is probably going to be down here at 35.57, and I don't think we get there. I don't think we fall that far. But that's Bitcoin and Ethereum for you guys. Crypto bubbles for the day look red. It's 97% red. The hour
looks good. Hour looks good. Yeah.
Hour looks like it's wanting to turn a little bit here, but the daily is about 97% red. You can see some of these Aster, probably somewhat of an expected pullback of 17.4% there. Story Protocol getting hit pretty hard today. They had a decent week because of that Azuki kind of news, I guess, but they pulled back 31%. XPL pulling back 27.5%. SPX pulling back about 10%. So the meme coins pulling back as well, on average around 5 to 7%. See Doge pulling back 5.6%. But yeah, so most of everything looks red here in the top 200. You see the Sun token here pulling back 8.8%. Pulse is pulling back 9.6%. Merlin token pulling back 3.6%. Still right under 30 cents though. So showing some strength, still kind of hanging around that 30-cent mark. Actually, I selfishly want this to pull back a little bit more so I can get so I can pick some more up here. But everything is pretty much pulled back between 5 and 7 to 10%. Fartcoin you see pulling back as well, 7% there. So just kind of a pullback day in general, while Bitcoin's trying to find its footing to restart things.
Yep, 100%, man. Really looking forward to kind of seeing what next week brings, right? I think the price action today and tomorrow, over the weekend, and going into even Monday and Tuesday might be a little bit on the rocky side, but potentially by next Friday we could be back on track and back on the bull run. So going down a little bit here isn't too bad. Ending the month potentially negative would suck, but it is what it is. Nothing you can do. But let's jump into some reasons why Bitcoin and stuff is kind of being a little bit on the negative side. So US revises Q2 GDP. I'm going to play something for you, and I want to get your reaction on it because this is kind of funny. It was live on CNBC this morning, and listen to this guy's his demeanor here, because he is kind of it sounds like he's getting tired of revisions. But let me play this for you. Let me know if you can hear this.
Now, on the GDP side, this is our third time around the block on Q2, and we see a really solid revision, 3.8%. I'm a bit shocked, to be honest. Usually the revisions as you get to second and third become smaller and smaller. So 3.8% would be the best quarter going back to, and we have to go back a ways here, till 4.4, and that was the third quarter of 23. Now, it is important to point out that if you look at the first quarter final, down 0.5%, there's a balance there, but the balance is moving in favor, and momentum is moving in favor for better growth. Now,
does it sound like these are manipulated at all, especially by him saying like this? We don't normally have this happen. It sounds like GDP was maybe manipulated by a certain president. What do you think? Because real quick, I did some research. A GDP print near 3.5 to 4% with inflation continuing to be moderate is considered Goldilocks scenario or perfect score scenario. So anything between 3.5 and 4% is like the best you can do. Like it's nearly impossible to get over 4%. And we got 3.8.
I think every administration has been doing this. The previous administration did it with the jobs reports, and they did.
Yeah.
They did.
I'm just saying. Remember their GDP? It was like negative, and they're like, you know what? We're changing the rules. It's not 3 scores in a row.
Yeah. Well, also they fudged the numbers initially on the jobs report, with the revision is the one that came in, and it's like everybody's like, oh, they lied. So I don't really trust too much of much. You know what I mean? I just feel like I mean, I don't know. I just right now sentiment not good is what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? In GDP. I don't know, man. People are buying Pokemon cards a lot. People are buying sports cards. They're not buying crypto as much, but they're buying like products in the economy, I guess. Because like whenever I hear about Pokemon and sports cards going up, like to me that's not like extra money, like that's extra money that like people have, spending on, right? So it's like that's weird. Right? Like, I guess they don't have extra money for crypto right now, though.
Well, didn't that stuff go up first? Like, that's what I'm hearing from a hobbyist. So their bull run really started in like December of 2020, right? So it's almost similar to, and then it did go for 2 straight years, even past the crypto cycle, because crypto got kind of hammered with stuff. But I hear that the sports cards and the Pokemon cards had a nice 2-year bull market from the end of 2020 to near 2022.
Well, they got hammered too, though. They got hammered because it was just because it was so over like inflated in value. You know what I mean? Because I was a part of that. Like I got a bunch of stuff that it was like easier to get stuff that you knew would like just jump up 200, 300 to 500% that normally doesn't. And then I would say about a year after that, like the crash happened. But right now, so I think that's why probably gold is up right now too. And then these are like tangible assets, collectibles. They're viewed as assets that you can store in your safe and stuff like that. So they do jump ahead of the crypto space. So
100%. Jobless claims came in today. Totally signaling adjusted to 118,000, down 14,000 from prior. So this is jobless claims. This is people claiming for unemployment. Upward revised figures, significantly less than the consensus estimate at 235. So jobs claims are looking better, but we do know this is a week-to-week thing, right? So just because we had a good week this week doesn't mean next week can be like 400,000, right? And that could get pretty scary depending on what the estimate is, right? So jobless claims looking better than last week, but we can only tell for next week. So it's almost like a non thing here, but it did kind of push Polymarket a certain way, and it's kind of the reason why I bring it up, because now it's changing again, dude. Look at it now. It's only 82% of a cut now with the almost 19% with a no change.
Yeah, that's going up. To the no change is definitely going up, but I think it's just being manipulated, though. You know what I mean, to throw people off. It happened a little bit like that last month, and I was like, "There's no reason for this to be going in this direction at all," and it did. And so, I mean, that's one thing that you got to expect from Polymarket is until it gets really close to time, and then that's whenever you can feel really confident. I think, You know, even the election kept going back and forth, and then the French dude was just like, "Nah, I know where this is going." Like 50 million on this or whatever, you know, and then like and then it pushed it up, and I feel like that's how the Fed has been a bit right. Like if it's in the 80s still, I think you should feel pretty good.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And we do know we have a lot of data points. We have a non-farm payroll in October. We do have then we have CPI, PPI, PCE I think in a couple of days as well, and we got it for October right before the meeting as well. So a lot of data points still to come in. So anything could change at this point. We'll kind of set that to see how inflation is. But I do feel inflation is dropping. Like I go food shopping for my house every week, and I'm noticing, dude. I'm noticing things getting cheaper. I mean, not meat, but like anything else, I feel like is getting cheaper on the downside because I look at the prices every single week, right? So I'm definitely seeing a difference each and every week. So hopefully, I'm not.
Yeah, the one thing though, and Stan put this in the comments, is about the government shutdowns.
Yeah.
Right. So that could kind of make things a little murky next week.
100%. I rushed the raspberry there. I realized I didn't do roll.
I know.
I mean,
yeah, that made me realize that too.
Yeah, so shout out to Stan for reminding me that I got to do the roll call. So let me jump in over here and knock that out for you guys. So, the first comment of every YouTube video, we take that and we put it on a spreadsheet. Congratulations to WebDro. You have your 45th win of the year, my friend. Congratulations to you. You are one behind the great Lackey Lukey, who has 46. So that is a race to get that Bitcoin frog valued at about $500 right now. So shout out to you guys, man. The grind is on now. We're getting to the back stretch of this. I'm curious who's going to win. Who do you think's going to win? I was going to ask you who's going to win. Who's going to win this right now?
I can't tell. I know I've thrown them off by putting out the show in the morning, and so it's kind of thrown some people off. But it's obviously Lucky Lukey and WebJo are pretty close. Who comes in third?
It's looking like Danny Boy still. Danny Boy hasn't won since the summer, but he still has 26.
Okay.
So I think that was his last win. But then we do have Tim Baker, who has 13. ASAP Benji has 16. But that's fourth and fifth place right there. But we'll see if someone can pass Danny Boy, who was killing it the first 6 months and kind of got busy. He said that though. He said that in the chat. He's like, I'm going to start work soon. I'm not going to be able to be doing this forever, but let's kind of jump into the comments here. We got WebDro, like I said, first comment. Tim Baker is here. Just so you guys know, I'm going to do it tonight. I'm going to go back through all the videos and put you guys all on the wheel for tomorrow. So everyone who put TK in the chat, as long as I have your X account, I'm going to be putting you on there to guarantee that I have your X account. Put it in the chat with your TK. But you only got to do it once. If you do it on Monday, I can keep adding it, so no worries there. So shout out to you guys, man. Chips and Dip is here. Vader Time is here. Spin Drift, my guy. Joko says, GM, I'm happy to have staked my OR pass for TK. Only 10% of the pass holders have staked, promising a juicy return. Yeah, I think it's like 1.3. Let's take a look at that, Joko. So you're getting about 1.3 million per pass. So congratulations to everyone who staked. You're getting over $1 million TK per pass. So that is absolutely amazing.
You can't say you can't say that the show hasn't done anything for you guys on the pass anymore or anything like that, because this is, I got to give credit to Shizzy, man. This is like a really kind of big idea of like giving back to the community with the whole staking and Trench Kitty. And
it wasn't just my idea.
I know.
I
no.
I don't want all the credit.
I say that because I mean, let's be honest, like, you've taken a hit from it, but in terms of personally, what I mean? And I want to make sure you get your flowers on that, because not every show tries to do something for their audience and all that stuff. And this started in terms of a give back, and it's been amazing. And you see Joko as well being able to get that give back from a pass that was launched in February of 2024. So there you go.
Yeah, 100%. And we're gonna open up another vault as well here, just to see if we can kind of push this. But right now, with the runes getting beat down to all-time lows, man. I mean, making Trench Kitty a rune. Maybe we should just take it to Spark. like do a liquidity pool and Spark or something.
Governance.
And yeah, I don't know what we would do with that, but definitely. K99 is here. He said, "Ugh, so bad." I guess he's talking about the markets. Abstract says, "Abstract will be the biggest airdrop ever." We should do that. We should do a video of all the potential airdrops that are coming. I think we can name by like 10 or 20 and just kind of go over that. Maybe we'll do it for the members video on Sunday. Kind of go through, make sure all the members are caught up with that stuff. So if you're not a member, make sure you guys are watching those member videos every single Sunday. We put out a member video directly to you guys, letting you guys know our thoughts and stuff on the market. So Lackey Lukey is here. Chief Axel's here. Rolando is here. Shout out to Orlando, man. Appreciate you, my friend. Hydro Sapien is here. Remy Yu is here. Mur is here. Stan says, okay, that's a good question. Is Polkadot inactivity in the administration's crypto run concerning? Gavin had a voice equal to Charles Hoskinson. Is it's safe to say Dodd has his point? So Gavin has been heads down building something called Jam. Jam is a new version of EVM. Gavin actually was the originator who created the EVM programming language Solidity. So he's actually using Solidity to create Jam. And Jam has potential to be something that Ethereum could even upgrade to one day, and Polkadot being the first beta tester in that system there, because Jam will be open source. So if it is good enough, you might see it might end up being the new EVM because it's built the same way. It's just an upgrade of EVM. So if he's successful with this, and Dot is the first, beta tester in there, and potentially with all the parachains, I mean, Polkadot could have a resurgence like we've never seen before. If Jam is everything that Gavin is promising, and if it is, he's promising a lot. He's promising it to be the next generation of decentralization. So we will see if Jam can be that. But I mean, I'm still very bullish on Dot. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm bullish on Gavin Wood, and let's see if he can kind of push Dot to that Valhalla.
I want to try something here. I want to ask you a couple of questions about companies and see if you recognize them. Okay, and I'll tie it in with this comment here. So, have you ever heard of Datadog?
Yeah,
you have heard of Datadog. Okay,
they're a stock. If they're a stock, I know what they are. If they're publicly traded.
Okay, so Viva Systems, stuff like that. The reason the reason why I'm asking is because I think the everyday crypto person or even person in general, unless you're into the markets, you're not going to know about Seagate Technology, $46 billion market cap. Viva has a 45 billion. Datadog has 47 billion. I don't think many people have heard of them, right? So the reason why I say that is because I think some of these companies like Polkadot and stuff, they're big names in the beginning, but they might not be showing a ton of activity at first. But then I think a lot of them are going to be like 10, 15 years down the line, they'll be companies with this kind of status, you know what I mean? To where they've built for example, MicroStrategy. I didn't even hear about MicroStrategy. I didn't even know what they were until Bitcoin. Yeah. You know what I mean? But they create OS systems for retailers to use, like JCPenney's or I don't know, McDonald's. I'm just using companies as an example, and they were making billions of dollars in terms of their client, contracts and stuff like that. I think we get to a place like that, and then people like us that were in early will be like, oh, we know Polkadot because we knew who they were, but then the regular people will be like, I've never heard of the Polkadot or whatever. You know what I mean? They'll just know the top ones that have been around or are very relevant at that time.
Yeah, 100%. If you ask a normie, name me a stock, they're gonna say, the Mag 7, right? Which is Nvidia, all the big ones. But if you go deeper, I mean, the normies don't even know. I think that's in my 401k. That's kind of shit they would say. But you're right. You are gonna get to the point of that, of those type of projects in here. But the only reason I know about these stocks is I watch that stock show every morning, and they cover.
But the average person doesn't, right?
Yeah, well, the average investor, I think, does, but the average person does not. If you're an investor, that's one thing we have to consider ourselves here in crypto. We have to consider ourselves as investors, the same as somebody who day trades, on the stock exchange, right? That's pretty much what we are here. So, but yeah, I 100% agree to your point there. Ant-Man is here. Shout out to Ant-Man. Mats is here. Stan says, if the government shuts down next week, any opinion? The government's not going to shut down. They're not going to allow it. Trump's going to let in their Yeah, 100%. And they want to go on vacation, right? They're about to go on another vacation they get in October. So, and then they come back in, I think, December. So I don't know. These people don't want to work. They want that free government money, benefits, and all that stuff.
Because they don't get paid
I can't
vacation.
imagine.
They don't get paid vacation if it's shut down, right?
No, because that doesn't affect their checks. They still get paid.
Really? I thought they
Yeah.
don't.
No, I think government officials are different than that, which
Oh,
it shouldn't be.
The federal workers don't get paid.
Yeah, the federal workers, the airport, all that people, they won't get paid.
Yeah, the state. Well, I don't. Yeah, federal workers. Yeah, they won't get paid. So VA stuff too, probably.
Buenas the Ideas is here. He says, just got there, guys. Missed a lot. No, I don't think you missed a lot at all. You're good to go, bro. You're not late. You're just still in time. Buenas Ideas is here again. Paulie says, market making is my strong area. My token plus app will have serious price action. I think you did mention your app a few times. Love to check it out. Mogar says, do you think the market will be down mid 2026? Also, when stimulus checks in 2026, 27. So we're not going to get stimulus checks. I think that is something that's not going to happen. It's promised a lot, but it's that type of stuff. That stuff only happens in crisis, right? So I don't think we'll get a stimulus check, but what I think we'll get like some tax breaks. I think tax breaks are going to be coming in the sense of that type of situation. But maybe you'll get more back for in your tax return and stuff like that. But I can't see a stimulus check. Can you?
I mean, there needs to be something that, like a situation that creates that. Like they're not just going to be like, okay, we got the economy is not that great right now. We're going to send out stimulus checks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the housing crisis, I think was one, and then COVID. Yep. Those are huge economic events.
100%. And you got to remember, they just put out, GDP is a 3.8 and 4.0 is almost a perfect score. Right. So it's like, it's one of those things where, the growth is still there. People are still spending. There's no chance in hell that we're getting a stimulus checks unless we see a massive, massive crash. And if we do see a massive crash, we're all screwed anyway, because all of our assets are very high risk over here in crypto. But I don't think the market's going to be down in 2026. I think that we might have a cool off period, but I don't think they're going to be lower than they are today in 2026. Maybe 2027, but definitely not 2026, in my opinion. But we'll see. And then Moving Bandit says all same shit, trap, tack, nat, all the future you guys would left behind. Yeah, good luck with that. I completely disagree. I think it's all trash. But that's just my opinion. Do you have an opinion on this? I don't know if they're gonna get left behind. Like left behind on what? Downloading that shit? Like, I don't know. I think it's funny.
I mean, I think it's really hard to tell what out of the Bitcoin ecosystem is going to win. But I look.
Is it though?
No, yeah, I do. Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin. I think ordinals will be the main NFT class. And Bitcoin, of course, and then the fungible token standard. Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to see what attracts the most liquidity.
I think they all go to zero. I think that all the Bitcoin liquidity, and I think eventually goes to Spark. I think Spark wins the race for fungibles on Bitcoin layer 2s.
Yeah, I think the tap and track systems assets. Other than that, I think Nat has more of a elegant way of kind of creating these tokens and stuff like that. I actually even would kind of separate them from them, but I know that they have that close relationship with the track team and all that stuff. But not having an application they got to download to the PC is not ideal. They got to get a Web3 or sorry a browser type of platform, because if they don't have that's going to hold them down for sure. But look, I think it's hard for them to come up right now.
Well, the NAT token is a tap standard, right? It's so they're tap tokens. At the end of the day, you can create them any way you want. At the end of the day, after they're created, they're tap tokens, so they're not going to be successful. Nobody holds tap tokens. And you're going to see these miners come in and dump NAT like as soon as there's a liquidity.
So that one is the one that's like has any success right now at all, like in terms of market cap and stuff. For now, Yeah,
for now.
but
Definitely has it for now, but
everything else seems like really far fetched. But that's just my opinion, and I hope they can prove me wrong.
and once NAT gets easier to buy and sell, that's when it gets easier to dump, right, from the miners. So once they realize that they can just deposit this into an exchange and dump it, I mean, it's done. It's zero. But thank you so much for the comment, though. Really appreciate you being a part of today's show. And thank you for your question. Let's kind of jump into some of the more stuff here. So let's jump into, okay, so Tom Lee predicts Wall Street and Trump administration will adopt Ethereum with BTC at 200 to 250K. I think that's, very fair for someone like Tom Lee, but ETH hitting 10 to 12K, both by end of this year. Do you think Tom Lee is kind of maybe hitting the pipe a little bit here, or do you think this is actually possible? I mean, with the next 3 months, could Ethereum be $12,000, which is 3x from where it is right now?
I'm not doubting him. I'm not going to be the one that doubts him until he gives me a good reason to doubt him.
You're going to say 12K? I mean, that's even high for me, and I'm usually the bull here.
I'm going to say that, like, I wouldn't be shocked if we get close to it or even hit it. So that's my take on it. I'm not going to especially when it comes to forecasting. The guy's been on point with Bitcoin, and I think he's going to be on point here. I mean, he probably will give me a reason why, like, I'll have to question it in the future. Maybe this is the situation, but until then, I'm going to be okay with what he's saying, and think that we will at least get close to that.
I think we'll get close. I don't think we get over 10K. I think we get to like 8,000, maybe 9. I do still believe that we're going to get to 18,000 in April, May of next year for Ethereum, and Bitcoin getting closer to 700K by April, May of next year. But, that, like I said, these are, I just don't see it happening in the next 3 months. I'm actually in the camp of October not being as bullish as people saying, and maybe November being very moderate with a very bullish December, and then January, February, March being the actual bull run.
Yeah, I still think that we have like a pretty aggressive push up to end the year this year. I still think that. I mean, I'm not going to say numbers or anything because I think that that doesn't matter anyways. Because if it's going to be an aggressive push up, then Bitcoin and Ethereum are going to be in pretty good spots. But I think some of the blue chips that are second tier and mid caps and stuff will benefit from the end of the year. But I do think 2026 is going to be opportunity, and I'm excited for that too. We'll see. Every time I try to get excited this year, it's like very short lived, right? So hopefully, pre-show you made a good point of like, you think that everybody in the U.S. needs to kind of get normalized or have this normalized way of thinking of this is how things are going to be, and that could really shift things. So maybe that starts next year.
Yeah, man. President Bukele from El Salvador says this. I wish he was our president, but says the same critics who opposed investing in Bitcoin now want to dictate how we use the profits. So Bukele came out with an interview, and he was basically saying how, because obviously he has like a multi-party government, very similar to how we do. We have a two-party government, but they have a multi-party government, and he's a part of the New Ideas. That's the name of his regime, I guess we'll call it. And basically, people are saying, hey, that you should sell the Bitcoin and invest into El Salvador. There's a lot of money there that could, fix the roads and put new buildings, create jobs. And he's like, we're not selling the Bitcoin. And he's like, the same people who told me not to buy the Bitcoin now want me, because he was buying Bitcoin at, 40,000, 45,000, and now it's sitting above 110, right? So he's like, I doubled our money, and I've bought one Bitcoin every single day for the last 400 days. And now you guys are telling me what I need to do with the profits. And I'm telling you, I'm holding Bitcoin. What do you think? He's standing his ground here. Are you worried about a potential if he ever gets, out of office, that they come in and they sell the Bitcoin?
I mean, at that point, it could be worth a lot. I mean, it is worth a lot now, but I think that could be a scary scenario. But maybe they he creates regulations and laws to make that, a very methodical and like thought out process to where there has to be like, the way, I don't know how you could create it, but like the voting system has to be like very precise on it and stuff. And because I think for those kind of situations, you got to be careful, because countries will do stuff like that probably in the future, right? Imagine. But it is funny that the people that were probably his opposition are the ones that are probably telling him, hey, you should do good for the country now and all these things, which I don't have any doubt that he's probably trying to figure out like how to get the infrastructure better, which it's already been like improved in different ways, right? But you always probably want to make it better for your citizens. So he's probably thinking, already planning how that could be done. But you don't be impulsive and just sell Bitcoin, which has been like a really strong part of your country's strategy.
Yeah, 100%. And one way to kind of get away from, what he can do with the Bitcoin is, right now the dollar is the number one currency there. Bitcoin is, second currency. So what he can do is basically, take all the Bitcoin he has and basically wrap it and give everyone Satoshi dollars, right? Create their own currency, and every dollar is backed by one Satoshi. So as Satoshi goes up, your dollar value. So he can potentially be the first country to back their new currency by Satoshis. So, I mean, potentially that could be the greatest currency in the world one day, all backed by what they have in the vault. So you never actually have to sell it, but you can actually create new money that is one Satoshi, and then, potentially go to that standard. And that could be an easier standard for people than actually sending the Bitcoin, because now you have, tokenized, and you can put it on on their on a blockchain or whatever, or you can just do it as the old way of doing it as well, right? With dollars and bank accounts and Web2 versions of money. So you could do something like that as well, and create your own currency there and back it by all the Bitcoin that you have.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they do something similar to that. It'd be interesting, right? Because I mean, you could have like one of the world's like most valuable currencies in the future if you did something like that. But
Yeah.
also you would have moments of volatility as well. You know what I'm saying? Like if it goes all the way up, then it's like it's the world's most valuable currency, and then it crashes. And I don't know. You want something stable, I think. But hey, look, they've tried a lot of approaches here, and I'm sure he's open-minded to many things. And it's worked for making his country better, I'll tell you that, or at least from what I've researched.
I think we all know that Bitcoin is going to get a lot more stable. I think the volatility has gone out the window, moving a couple percentage points a day. Where I think the days of seeing these 40% weekly drops, right, and that the drop that happens in a week, I think those days are over. I mean, I could be wrong, but I would just rather hold Satoshis over $1 any day, honestly, with the upside and the downside. So, look, OnChain reports WHALE holding 2 million hype cost. He bought in 17.4 million. It's now worth 89 million. He just sold for the first time 200,000 hype at 80.9 million in 2 hours, and shifted the funds from Hyperliquid to Aster. So they followed him with the bridging out of Arbitrum into BNB, and then depositing into Aster. How do you feel about this? People now selling down their hype, which is dropping pretty bad. I mean, hype now is at $41. I mean, this thing was $56 not long ago, and actually getting into Aster. Aster is kind of down 15% today as well. But Aster, look at this, dude. Perp volume 24 hour, $35 billion. Hyperliquid 10, and then Lighter, which is on the Lighter chain, is, I don't even heard of this until we start really looking into this, but it's doing amazing, is at 10 billion as well, actually beating Hyperliquid. But Aster, killing it, absolutely killing it right now.
Yeah, and I think Lighter just is benefiting from this Aster and Hyperliquid battle. People are like looking at these other products and like, oh, I didn't realize that this was here. Let me check it out. Oh, it's awesome. I love it. Let me buy this up, or let me use it. It seems like that's what they're doing, is using it. I think Jeff, the founder of Hyperliquid, probably likes this. I would if I was him. I'd be
Yeah.
like, hey, look, like, I'll be number 3. I'm fine. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you're gonna make
Right?
the same amount. You're gonna make,
Right?
you
I mean,
don't want to be the
yeah,
biggest target, right?
well,
Because
yeah,
that's never
I'm
good.
fine. Like, you know, if I walked away right now, I could just never think about money again. You know what I mean? And so I think that like this is probably like I would think that would be like a position that like he would want because his personality seems kind of very not like super brash, right? But then you got you know, like the CZ and Aster, and I think the next question is, can they maintain $35 billion of volume daily? And if they are kind of redirecting, you know, some of the centralized exchange perps trading to Aster, then yes, the answer is yes to that. And now they're kind of flexing their muscles, saying, "You thought Hyperliquid was doing numbers? We're going to show you guys."
Yeah, I love it. I love everything you said there because it's just, it's very smart. And it's like, let Binance be number one. Let CZ be number one. They're used to being number one. Just let them have it, right? But we're gonna be
Yeah.
here, and we're gonna be something, an alternative to what they're building, and a second
I
platform.
mean, who else probably does that? It's like the Aves, the you know, they're
Exactly.
they're worth billions of dollars. They could probably, you know, walk away as well and never think about money as well, but they're not into the drama part of all this stuff, and
Exactly.
they're just like, even though they're considered a little bit legacy because they were the kind of entities that started a lot of the DeFi, they're just fine not being in the news. You know what I mean? If you're going to put them in the news, they'll probably be in the news on like Cointelegraph for some enterprise
Loan
partnership
volume,
or something like that. You know what I mean? So
100%. Google buys 5.4% stake in Bitcoin miners Cipher Mining. Google to acquire stake in Cipher Mining as part of an AI hosting deal. Last month, August 9th, 14th, Google purchased TeraWolf, another Bitcoin mining infrastructure, but also using it to kind of be hosting its AI compute. How do you feel about these miners now finding a second business in AI? And it's just worry you about hash rate if they can potentially make more money. Because at the end of the day, we know the miners don't give a shit about Bitcoin. The early miners, yes, they did. New miners, they just want to make money. And they'll ditch Bitcoin if it's not making them enough money and potentially go fully into AI. Does this worry you about hash rate if a lot of these miners start going in and partnering with Google and being their compute hosts?
no, not really. It doesn't. I think if it's gonna like, we'll know from like the Bitcoin maxi guys if it's starting to be an actual like serious issue, because we'll start seeing it on our timeline. You'll see like people like Udi talking about it and saying, you know, we got to do something with the security thing. This is the perfect time to upgrade the chain. You know what I mean? Those kind of things, right? And we're just not really seeing that. But also, them buying stake, do they get 5% stake? Are they able to like, you know, kind of redirect some of this, you know, energy or whatever from Bitcoin to AI hosting?
Yeah,
I
because they
mean,
join the board. They'll be able to sit there with the board and say, let's make
convince them.
money. And you know what I mean? So, we're earning this much from this energy. This is what happens if we plug it into Google, right? So so what these bigger companies do, they can't just go in and just like buy giant stakes at one point without making a big deal, right? So what they do is they come in, they buy a little bit, and they buy a little bit more, they buy a little bit. But it does look like, I would imagine that they're gonna have like 10 or 15 of these just to be on the board of directors, and just that way they can kind of manipulate them into being suppliers without having to buy the whole company.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a strategy that they've been doing. This is the second acquisition or like stake that they put into a Bitcoin mining company for this exact reason. So,
Yep. A fresh wallet pulled 1,524 Bitcoin worth 171 million off exchanges in 3 days. So this is just one. We're actually seeing this happen multiple times. New wallets coming on board and just pulling a crap load of Bitcoin off exchanges. Do you think these are new whales, or do you think these are just old whales restacking for the next round up?
why does it say fresh wallet?
So a brand new wallet withdrew 1,500 Bitcoin. So it never held Bitcoin before. It was just for the
Someone
first time,
sent
first ever
some-
transaction.
Someone sent Bitcoin to that wallet though.
It came off an exchange. It came off exchanges, multiple exchanges.
Gotcha. Okay. So this is one of the headlines that made me think that Bitcoin's probably going to be the next one up or start that rotation
Yeah.
again. It's because you're taking them off of exchanges, so you're not trying to sell down. And then if you're just taking it off into a fresh wallet, cold storage, whatever they're doing here, they're thinking that there's probably going to be a month or so of up, aggressive Bitcoin to the upside. So that's that paired with some of these other people getting out of alts and getting into Bitcoin, the ETF inflow of Bitcoin being positive in a good amount, and then ETH was an outflow. Had a negative for the ETF. That those three things kind of made me think that Bitcoin is going to try to work its way back to try to get that momentum started again.
Yeah, 100%. That's kind of what I thought as well. I mean, you don't see this happen unless people are going to be holding for long points of time, right? Like year, 2 years, something like that, or 6 months minimum. Because it sucks withdrawing Bitcoin to a while because you have to wait the 10 minutes. It's scary, you know what I mean? Unless you're very, this could be a company as well. Do you think potentially this could be NVIDIA? This could be Microsoft. This could be a huge, big company buying for the first time.
Maybe, but I mean, it would be complete speculation. You know what I mean, to guess that. But I agree with you. That would be nerve wracking, especially if it was just a retail well. Probably split that up in a lot of different ways somehow, or just feel better about it. But because of the amount, obviously it's someone that's significant, right? So it could be, a company that's trying to, put it in, take it off and just be a part of the run up here, or just a large whale that's doing it. That would be a big whale.
In May of 2021, or it might have been March, Elon Musk came out and said, Bitcoin is inevitable. And their wallet bought Bitcoin 2 weeks prior to that announcement. And it was almost the same exact thing. Shitload of Bitcoin. It was like $2 billion worth of Bitcoin in the matter of I think it was 10 or 12 withdrawals went to one wallet. And that wallet ended up being what we know today as the Tesla wallet, right? This wallet actually changes up every 6 months. They actually send all the Bitcoin to a new one. Potentially, people, this is kind of what I'm hearing, that this could be Tesla again doing this. We do know that Elon does not trust the government anymore after looking behind the curtain, and the rumor is that this could be, this might not be them, but Tesla might be in track to be buying more Bitcoin for its treasury here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked with that. Preparing for the future for sure.
Yep. All right, the next thing here, Plasma. So Plasma launched today. Plasma is Tether's new EVM blockchain. Let's take a look at it here. So if you guys go to plasma.to, it'll take you to the site. This is the insights. You can actually look at the chain. You kind of can learn about how everything's happening. You can go to one is their credit card. So this is really cool. I was looking into this a little bit. Let's just say you have USDT or another stablecoin in your MetaMask wallet on the Plasma One blockchain. You'll be able to spend this card, and it will immediately just take USDT out. So you can have just USDT in your Plasma account, and this card here, your debit card, it will scan pretty much anywhere Visa or MasterCard are accepted, which is everywhere now. You'll eventually be able to just spend right from your wallet here, which is phenomenal. So this is equivalent to a signature when you scan this. So the Plasma, they have that already, and then you kind of dig in further, you can kind of see the ecosystem. So they obviously have USDT, which is their stablecoin, Aave, Athena, Veda. Never heard of Veda, but it looks like it's a new yield platform. Layer 0, which is a bridge, Axios, Pendle, Curve, Maple. Me and you were both blown away when we saw Maple there. Centrifuge, which is a Polkadot project, which is cool to see. Stargate, WalletPay. This is like an API first platform. Jumper, Chainlink. So hundreds of these platforms now, all set to be working with this new chain. I actually went and got my wallet loaded up on Plasma here. That's Botonics, got Plasma right there. And then, so I'm loaded up in here. I just need some XPL, which is the gas token. and the governance token. But how do you feel about Plasma? You had some time to kind of mess with it this morning. How do you feel about Plasma, Tether's new blockchain?
I want to know how much would I get for using the card. I'm sure that there's going to be some sort of reward mechanism of using that.
Yeah, USDT cashback. Would you accept that?
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
And just put it into my wallet that my wallet that I have there or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think
well, it's not a credit. It's not a credit card. It's a debit card.
No,
yeah,
but oh yeah, that's right. So I think they still earn a little small transaction fee for the stores or whatever they get that. So, but you're right, it's not going to be a reward like a credit card would. But
yeah,
going back to Plasma, I think this is an example of mainstream adoption that's happening. Tether is stable coins, their yield. It's going to be many more serious type of products, and you see that with Aave, you see that with Layer 0 building there, you see that with Curve Finance, you see that with Fluid, Athena, and so the question is, what are the opportunities for the everyday person? I think that we should always ask that, right? For chains, whether they're more focused on fintech, which it seems like in the new way of doing it, right, the crypto way, or the more degen risky type of environment, which I don't think that this is going to be that very much at all. But if it is permissionless, and we'll see if people can build crazy stuff on here, or if they kind of take, like you mentioned before, the Sonium approach, and they kind of block out that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so Sonium, they can do that because there's no governance, right? They govern it's running on one server. But if they have a token and this token is the governance token, if I don't think you do that type of stuff on a governance chain. You can only do that stuff on a centralized chain because you have full say. And if your people want it, they can put out a proposal, and blacklisting something is something decentralized chains do not do, or these DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, they don't blacklist shit. It's kind of like it goes against everything they stand for, unless it's harmful to the product, right? So if they consider a pump fund harmful to the product, but it's not, because it's going to generate fees, right? So the chain itself needs transactions to kind of keep going and keep mandating and stuff like that. So I don't know if something like that would be good or bad.
Yeah, I don't know. First of all, are they going to launch a token? I don't think either of us know that with Plasma.
Yeah, there's a token.
Oh, they already launched it?
Yeah, XPL had launched today.
Okay, so that's the one that pulled back 30-something%. Yeah, so that's totally different. That's I imagine that this is probably going to be permissionless completely then. And we'll see who builds any crazy stuff on here.
I'm down, dude. I'm down for the play around, at least for the first couple tokens, like a couple $100 in each, and just let it ride. That's kind of the mistake I made on Abstract, right? I was too quick to say this is not going to work out, and I left. And then if I would have stayed in Newt and Aster, I would have made buckets of money. So it's one of those things where I would love to see, a couple meme coins on here, but she's going to be the top meme coin of the Plasma chain. Plasma chain could be, it could compete up there with, base chain one day. Honestly, it really could.
Well, let's so if we get the Q4 that, I'm saying that we possibly can get, with the aggressive push up, imagine Abstract launching next week or something. That would have been the perfect situation, because now you have those meme tokens like Aster and stuff that probably get to Aster probably gets to 100 million or something crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. In the heat of everything. So looking out for that, and Plasma's just launching, could be something like that, or another chain. Think about that. That's about to launch here between now and middle of October. That's something to keep our eye on.
Yeah. Do you think there's the airdrop opportunity for this? Obviously, they just launched their token. They gave a lot of it to the Binance Alpha guys. So Binance Alpha was got this airdrop. They have a lot of this token. Do you think potentially using this chain, and this is just us guessing at this point, could potentially lead into an airdrop of this XPL token?
Possibly.
You haven't seen that before. An airdrop after.
There would have to be something that's like at least like a perps dex or something that people that would be popular on there for
Yeah.
people to use. You know, other than that, like you get more degen in terms of usage, because yes, you can use Aave, you can use these other things, but you're not going to use it over and over and over. You know what I mean? But the perps dexes, and I guess a regular dex you could do kind of like what the Jupiter kid did, right? Like
Yeah.
where he was just doing like 5-cent trades every like I don't know, maybe like 1,000 times a day or whatever for until that airdrop came.
Yeah, 100%. And like this is one, it's called OKU.trade. This seems to be their leading DEX right now. As you can see, I'm going to connect my MetaMask to this right now and kind of see kind of how it is. And let's see what chains they have over here. So I'm not really sure. But yeah, I can use the swap here, the pools, and everything else. So I can swap here. So they do have a DEX here, and I don't think this one has a token, OKU.trade. So this could be something to farm here as well. I didn't think about that. Farming the dApps, not just you know, the chain itself, but the actual dApps could all have tokens, because we do know that Hester Pierce wants everything to have a token now. Because if it doesn't have a governance token, then it needs to register as an exchange, right? So you're going to see a lot of companies now who don't have tokens actually start tokens, because they don't have to sign up, like they don't want to have to go by the exchange laws, which are very KYC friendly.
Do you think she did that because of Aster? Because like Hyperliquid kind of started Hyperliquid, you don't have to worry as much because Hyperliquid doesn't have like a full-on centralized exchange. They're kind of the chain app or whatever. But then you get Binance that has their centralized exchange, and then now they have the best of both. They're having their cake and eating it too, in a sense, because now they're getting volume on Aster, and then they have their Binance perps as well. So maybe she's like, I don't want this to be a trend with all centralized exchanges.
Well, I think it's because actually because of Polymarket. Right, with Polymarket and stuff like that, with the KYC stuff, it's like you're going to give us KYC, or you're going to decentralize this, right? Because I don't think she wants that one party to own the entire exchange without, you know, decentralization. It's like you're going to claim that this is decentralized, then where's your governance? And you can't claim something is decentralized without governance, or a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization.
I mean, she's you know, drawing out a pretty clear picture there.
And it's fair. It's a very fair picture.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And it benefits what we're doing over here. It makes having a governance token is her argument to why stuff is not a security. It's like, well, then where's your governance token? Right?
Yeah.
They're going to draw lines in the sand. You got to draw them somewhere. And I think it's very fair. I love governance tokens, honestly.
Well, also, like, you can kind of like find ways to still have more control. Just because you have a governance token doesn't mean like you're giving all the power to your community or people, and you don't have any say. You know, there's Solana as an example. Like, they can do pretty much what they want. You know what I mean? And I think that others can do that as well. But it does create a clear picture in terms of regulation. We've asked for that, so you got to give her credit for that.
And, you know, the gas token for Plasma is XPL. It serves as the native token used for gas staking and rewards. So you do have to, if you want governance in these protocols, though, you do have to stake these tokens. So that benefits the chain as well. It benefits the chain token because you do have to stake this to have any governance. I think that's a big deal, too. I mean, having a governance token without it being locked up is pointless, right? I do love the fact that you have to lock up your tokens to actually have a vote, because that shows you, hey, maybe only 51% of the people are actually going to put this in there. But, you know, that does, again, to your point, it shows you who has faith in themselves, because the people who have faith in themselves are easily stake this. Someone like me, for instance, like, do I trust the person running this chain? I don't know, because I'm stuck in here, whether I like it or not, for potentially, you know, sometimes 45 days in Ethereum's case, right? 30 days in Polkadot's case. So, all right. So the last part, I guess, my last question for you is, do you think Plasma will be a top 3-4 blockchain by volume this cycle?
I think it depends on like how much business is being done on it, and not the typical kind of like, you know, like meme coin launchpad. I mean, like, you know, borrowing, lending, institutional adoption, you know, because I think we haven't even really talked about, and this is just an idea in my mind, is, you know, when Stan was on, like, you're probably going to have people that try to middleman some stuff. Like, for example, with their product, you could kind of label yourself a broker, right? And hey, look, you know, you want to earn 5% on your money, you know, give me $5,000 USD cash. You just immediately turn that into Bitcoin and then you stake it. And then, you know, Bitcoin goes up, right? And then you create like a professional company. Obviously, you got to get financial licensing and stuff like that. But they're going to look for ways to make more money in between. You know what I mean? And so plasma is something that people can do those kind of business on, you know, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, 100%. And the last thing here is runes are at an all-time low. Pretty much a lot of them are. Is this the bottom? Do you think that it's time to call the bottom for runes here? Because if this isn't the bottom, I honestly don't know how much lower they can go. I mean, let's go to the daily. I mean, you have dog sitting still at 192. A lot of stuff has risen, but dog is not, right? MIM sitting at 27 million. This is lower than it was last time. Gizmo down at 2.5 million. You have Billy just above 5.1. Liquidium hanging strong there at 17 million. That's one that you get from Liquidium, but definitely stronger than most runes here. Pups down to 9.62. Rune Coin down to 3.5. Tarded Rat down under 1 million for the first time since long time. Bro Bear sitting at 400K. It's getting really, really bad over here, dude. Do you think this is the bottom for these Bitcoin fungible runes?
I think it is. I think whenever you see billion-dollar cat, like tokens like billion-dollar cat, yes. And I think MIM too. I feel like these are kind of like the bottoms that they've reached before. Whenever like everybody's like runes are dead. This isn't the first time that people have had funeral for runes. You know what I mean? And so. And new token standards have come out after that, right? Like alkanes and other stuff too. I do think that there's going to be opportunity with Spark just because of the names behind it and stuff like that. But I think that this is an opportunity for certain runes, like Dog being under 200 million, Gizmo's super cheap, Billy is super cheap, and Mim is super cheap. Anything outside of that, I think you're, you know, kind of rolling even harder the dice. So
if I gave you $10,000 and said, "Hey, you have to invest it all in one rune," which rune would you go in? Would you go safe with Dog, or would you go something risky like Gizmo?
I would go Billy, I think.
Billy,
and the reason why is because like Billy is like one of those that like, you know, you still have like when Runes was even still getting beat up, you have Bongo in a Billy costume at the Bitcoin conference in Hong Kong, and then you have OpenSea like integrating the graphics with it. So you know that's why I don't think Runes is done. And also I think Ordinals has a really strong bounce back as well whenever it's their time. It feels even more intense because we've covered the space. I mean, we kind of started our careers in this space, so we feel it even more. You get what I'm saying? But like other spaces have felt like what we're feeling right now, and even more. You know, we talk about Ethereum getting down to like 1,800, and their NFT sector was like dead like in 2023 and the early parts of 2024. Now it came back to be the king again, and it's the top. So like, you know, I think that ordinals and I think that like Bitcoin fungibles will have their time again. You know, but I will say it's harder and harder to see how that's going to happen. But again, we feel it more than the average person because this is kind of like our bread and butter was, right? So
it's sad. It's a sad day for me to kind of realize that this might not come back, right? Like I think you just said that you're in the camp that it does, but I don't know if this is the bottom. I'm actually disagreeing. I think the runes go a lot lower than they are. I think ordinals go a lot lower than they are.
I don't. I think this is the bottom. I think this.
I mean, I hope you're right. But if Bitcoin falls to 107, like a lot of people are saying, I mean, you could see it get pretty nasty over in the Bitcoin. I mean, you might see $100 million dog. You might see a $1 million billion-dollar cat. I mean, this definitely possibilities.
Yeah, I think that this is the bottom, and I think that there's going to be another point in time where we even talk about rare sats and we talk about bitmap again, and I think that that's going to be whenever, you know, this area, because look, if Casey just kind of just went away completely and just gave up on it, then I would say, okay, this is going to be a counterparty 2.0. But he's making podcasts. Recently, he went over it. He has that kind of personality to where I don't think he can stay away for too long. And plus, they're managing the what was it, the ORD, why can't I think of it? The ORD indexer, right? They're managing that, and as long as they keep managing that and make sure that that's still there. Yes, ordinals have taken a hit overall, but I think that they have a comeback, and if Magic Eden delists them, then they're probably dead. But I don't think that's
that's never going to happen. They work too hard. It's easy money
Well,
for them. Even if you look, I mean, there's still volume. $162,000 for Quantum Cats. $41,000 for Puppets. 34. This is all fees for them, right? So.
Yeah, but look what I did. I summoned some of the Bitcoin OG people. Rare Sats Dom says Rare Sats forever. Okay, so I'm gonna test that out tomorrow and see if that summon works again. But yeah. What was I saying that kind of threw me? I got so excited to see somebody from like the old days, and I was like, but what I was gonna say was, God dang it. That really
I'm with you myself. I kind of think so too.
No, he says sorry, guys. Just kidding. Come on,
no, I think you're right, dude. I think you're right, myself.
But what he's saying is he doesn't really believe that. But
myself, does he? I think the JK's there just to kind of take the foot off. I think he believes that. I think he thinks that layer one fungibles.
I bet you
here forever.
I bet you myself holds a good amount of dog and some other runes.
He's too smart. I've been telling everyone since $300 million to get out of dog. Right? Well, I'm saying it on the show here.
I'll tell you. If I'm wrong, then I'd be really shocked if myself doesn't hold dog. And the reason why is because when we have talked about it, he's talked about how the community is so strong and like how dog is going to have like a really big future. See, these are the moments I think that like when people are like beaten down like a sector, like they're just like continually beat it down. That, in my opinion, sometimes that's whenever you got to really, find your conviction and get in. I'm not telling people to go get runes or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that like there's been other sectors that have gone through this, Solana, Ethereum, and they have bounced back extremely strong. So, with that being said, like even like, SAS Terminal, which is a partner of ours, and we're really good friends with Stan, and we've got to know him. He also, and yes, it's a part of their business model. I get that, but he also says that like he still believes in runes and stuff like that, and they're also bridging them over. But I get where you get the sentiment. I mean, I don't think it's crazy that you feel that way. You know what I mean? It's obvious to see like, the up and downs, and it's been really down lately. And also you see the spaces and stuff like with like, the ordinal show has really taken a hit. Look, but we have too, is like everybody kind of has as a content creator lately. Right. But, I will say that like, I think runes has its time again. But I think you got to be, very careful in which ones that you are going to get if you do buy them cheap.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been out of runes since dog was 300 million, right? I'm just kind of in the boat of, I think Bitcoin fungibles are just not worth it. They're not worth the 10 minutes waiting. They're not worth the communities being so, stagnated, right? There you have this community with alkanes and this community BRC20s and this community hates runes and they all hate each other. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Maybe it works long term, but it's not going to work short term. And I think that potentially you have stuff like Bob Bodily when Casey said like you're not on internet computer, you're on Bob's computer, right? So you're just trading on Bob's computer. So I mean it's kind of like that. And with Spark, I mean Casey didn't like that either, but Spark's actually trying something different with the actual L2, which is Lightning Network, and they're building upon that. So can that be successful? I don't know. But if there's any chance for Bitcoin fungibles, I think that's the layer that it can work on, right? Because Lightning Network is like, think about that too, right? If Lightning Network, we just found out yesterday that you can now send Bitcoin through Lightning Network through text messages on your iPhone. You're gonna be able to send these Spark tokens the same way. because at the end of the day, these Spark tokens are just Bitcoin, right? They run on the Bitcoin Lightning channels, so it's pretty much the same thing.
Well, depends on
They-
the wallet that they're going to use too. If it indexes these Spark tokens and all that stuff, is it possible? Yeah, I imagine yes. So,
Yeah.
but like, who's going to build it? Not
Someone
Apple.
who can make a fee. Someone who can make a fee. So Apple didn't build the Bitcoin text wallet, right? Somebody just used the feature to do it. Somebody built that using iMessage, right? So it wasn't.
They
you send it.
They didn't put them in the headline. They only put Apple in what was it? Bitcoin Lightning.
Yeah, but
I think
if you watch somebody send it, he goes to the messages, he clicks the one button, the plus button, and then an app. So these are all apps. So if you click the plus button on your phone, all these apps pop up. And so you're doing it through an app, right? That is letting you use the text message. So you're still sending it through the app, but it's just letting the person know that they're getting the Bitcoin. So it's not actually going through iMessage. It's really just going from app to app, but you can send it to their phone number, but their phone number has to be hooked up as well to that same app.
Yeah. Well, also I get what Casey said about Odin.fund, but okay, since their exploit, which was a month ago, okay, they have done $200 million in volume since the exploit. So hold on a second. Before the exploit, that they've probably done like over $1 billion, probably a couple, maybe almost in volume, right? And so, I get it. Like I get the security, technicals and like what he's talking about with that, but like that was what people were wanting was volume, and he did it with his single server or whatever the heck he's using, right? His ICP subnet or whatever, this custom subnet.
Yeah, but like MEXC is a centralized exchange, just like Bob's computer. So it's the same thing. It's a centralized exchange. It's the same exact thing. There's no difference from MEXC to what Bob built. It's the same exact thing. So
yeah,
so MEXC does 10 times as much as Bob's computer. So what's the difference?
The difference is that like it doesn't matter about MEXC. I'm talking about like what Bob is trying to do versus what other people using runes has tried to do. And in terms of volume, no one's come close to him.
Yeah, what I mean? I know, but like he still built a centralized exchange. Like if you wanted to trade runes on a centralized exchange, then go use MEXC. Like it's what I mean.
But MEXC didn't list them all or just start doing.
No, they have pretty much. They have Billy, they have Gizmo, they have Mim, they have Dog. But like no one gives a shit about runes.
But you can't launch a new one, and you can't do those things. Like he's created like the top market caps right now. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I get the fact that like it is an ICP token standard, but like you can bridge it off into runes, and so that's kind of his marketing angle that he's using, right?
But that's kind of Casey's point too. There's no token standard whatsoever. It's just there is no token standard inside Bob's computer.
Yeah, but it can be runes. You know what I mean? So it's like
we made Solana token that can be a rune. So all Solana tokens using Rune Mine can be a rune.
Not launching on Solana and getting to $313 million market cap in crypto bird.
I mean, I can make Dog Whiff a rune right now. I just got to contact Rune Mine to set that up.
You could make it a rune, but it's not going to. But you're not going to be able to get like the demand for it. Crypto.
The demand's there. It's on Solana.
No, but people aren't
the demand for that rune is not on Bitcoin L1. Most of those runes don't even trade on Bitcoin L1.
Yeah,
so I can make Dog Whiff. I can make Dog Whiff a rune and then trade it on Solana, and it's the same thing as trading.
No, you can't. No, are you kidding me? So you're telling me that okay, I'm not. You're saying someone that doesn't have any Dog Whiff on like Solana Dog Whiff, right?
I'm just saying somebody who wants to create a platform, right? They can easily say, hey, everything that is on this launchpad is a rune. Right, and it's just going to trade on Solana, but it doesn't make it a rune until it's bridged. And these runes don't have no volume on layer 1, so the actual rune itself has zero volume. The token that's representing the rune on Bob's computer has volume that we don't even know is real or not, because there's no way to even tell that these numbers aren't fudged. There's no way to tell.
They're real though, because like if you hold these tokens, we've used it and we've sold into.
I know, but we're selling on a centralized exchange, so you don't know how much. We don't know how much volume is real or not. A lot of like Binance.
So the volume might not be, but the market cap is real.
How do we know that?
Because we've sold and we've done the math in terms of
I know, but how do we know it's not being manipulated in the back end? There's no way of telling it's not being manipulated in the back end.
Well, I mean,
that's my point. That's what centralized exchanges do.
If I can get my value out of it, that's all I care about. In that instance, you know what I'm saying?
But I'm not talking about like you getting value out of it. I'm just talking about it's not real crypto. It's a centralized exchange. It's not
dude. But there's tons of that stuff kind of happening.
And I'm saying that's fine, but I'm just you can't compare it. You can't compare it to a token standard that you can't fudge. You can't fudge the numbers. You can't compare it to BRC20. You can't compare it to anything that's happening on an actual chain where everything is 100% legit, and you can see that the wallets trading are bundled or not bundled and shit like that. Like you have no idea if that shit is.
You can see if it's bundled.
Yeah, but you have no idea to make sure that is true. There's no chain to make sure that is true.
I forgot how Pep Odins was getting their data, but they were able to tell.
On chain is real crypto. Off chain is not real crypto, and that's kind of
so. I agree with that, but then you could go back to, saying that like the way that the indexers work for ordinals and stuff, right? Because it's basically yes, I get that like
it's on chain.
The file is the asset. It is being inscribed on Bitcoin. I get that, but like the representation part of it or the computation does not exist on chain.
You can verify it though, because you can go check the Bitcoin blocks and you can check it all yourself.
It would be like this: like Bitcoin doesn't know that this picture is on there, but because you have this off-chain indexer, you can point to it and you can show what it is, but Bitcoin doesn't know it. So that part
I don't need the indexer though. I can go on chain and kind of see the transaction itself and say, okay, this node monkey has been traded this many times. This same exact node monkey ID has been traded this many. So you don't really need the indexer helps. It helps like Magic Eden and stuff like that, make sure they keep track. But as a person, you can verify it yourself. It'll be hard, but you can do it.
Yeah, but like tokens as well though, like whenever you inscribe the tokens, you're inscribing like just the JSON, right? So you would literally have to look at the JSON in brackets and be like,
but it's verifiable. Yeah, so my whole point is that you can do it if you wanted to, but you can't do it on Bob's computer.
But you have to use off-chain indexers to do it, to verify it. Or you can do it.
You can actually manually.
You can look at the JSON code and try to verify it, but that's going to be like. That's not how like token.
But I'm just saying though, you don't have to trust anything. You can verify. If you have to trust Bob's computer, then it's not on chain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. First of all, I'm not saying that like it's like a layer 1 option. It's not. No one is saying that. It's like the scaled, centralized option of making. There's like some made up aspects of it in terms of like saying, okay, it is a rune because it is inscribed on Bitcoin. You do have that and you can bridge it over and you have that ability and then you can trade it on Magic Eden's marketplace. But, 99.9% of the people that if you launch the token on Odin.fund is not going to do that. They're just going to keep it on Odin.fund. And that was like Jake Gallen's point the whole time. But what it has done is created people have been making a lot of money on there. And he uses the runes marketing aspect. He does. I mean,
yeah, but still, I mean, it's not. You can't. My whole point though is you can't compare it to runes, actual runes. You can't compare it to actual BRC20s. You can't compare it to anything that's verifiable on chain.
Is it related to it?
We just don't know if it's real. We don't know if the numbers are real. We can't verify that any of that is actually real and happening without. I mean, we have to trust Bob. So no, I don't think. I think anyone can create a runes platform on any chain. I can go create a runes platform on Plasma right now. It doesn't matter. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Plasma guys are like, oh, this is cool. You just don't know. No one knew anyone was going to use Odin until 6 months after Odin was live, right? Because Odin had no volume in the first 3 months.
What if you created the runes and then you bridged it to MPC and then you launched it on his computer or whatever? And started off as a rune.
If then it's technically a rune. But for it to be a rune, it needs volume on layer 1. If it has no volume on layer 1, then potentially it's not a rune. You know what I mean? If it's not,
even if it exists as a rune asset.
Well,
on layer 1,
it's not. It does. So that's the thing. It could have $1 billion of trading volume on Bob's computer, but it's zero over here. But you got to remember where that rune is. The rune is in a wallet locked up, and it is 1-to-1. at that asset, but the actual Rune is just in Bob's wallet, owned by Bob. So Bob owns 99.9% of all the runes, and I say that in quotation marks, runes that are on Bob's computer, because it's all in one wallet.
Unless you bridge it out, and then
unless you bridge it out. So Bob, if you're okay with Bob owning all of your runes, and then giving you the carbon copy on the other side, one-to-one packing.
Until you bridge it out, and then you can have ownership, but you're not going to really be able to do much with it on that side. But you can do it. So that's the little bit of connection to runes that like he's able to kind of use to market.
We can do that. Well, I can go and create all the Solana tokens as a rune. I can create Dog with Hat as a rune. I create Farcoin as a rune. It does it, and then have that all in a bridge.
Everybody knows that.
Anyone's going to bridge it. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing. You can call everything a rune if you wanted to.
Yeah, but like it's how you like if you have a successful business or not with it. I think also depends on like.
I mean, Bob has a successful business, but it's a Web2 business. It's not Web3.
Yeah, I mean, in that aspect, I'm not disagreeing with that. Like, it is centralized. We've known that. We've known that.
This is pretty funny. I'm gonna call it Exchange Bob's computer. That's great, dude. I love it. Please do. I will support that. I will invest.
Do you think Bob still has the same credibility in the space, though?
Not anymore.
You don't think so?
The 3 hacks. Not since the 3 hacks. No. I think he lost a bit of I feel like he lost a little bit of his reputation.
Even though, I mean, he made it right each time.
No, he did 100%. He's a very trustful person. I just feel like he was like a legend. Like when a new protocol dropped, you were waiting for Bob to go through it, right? You were just waiting for him to kind of break it down for you. And now I just feel like he's no different than Elon at this point, in my opinion. Right? I
mean, he's making a lot more fees, and he's way more connects with his user base than Elon does. Like he goes to the conferences and shakes everybody's hands. I mean, I don't know. I don't see no video footage of it. You know,
well, it's because he's Anon, right? So,
all right. So I don't know. I think that's a little harsh on Bob.
I mean, think of the bag work, guys. He got them an airplane. He got them limousine. He got them front row tickets to the UFC fight. I mean, he does stuff for his community.
So, bro, that's not even close to the same. The Bagworks guys are making money off of the users. The users are the ones that you want to go and connect with, which Bob does that at events. They love him. They think he's like some American god or something whenever he goes to the BTC events, and they're like, "Oh, Bob, come here, Bob. Oh, my son wants to hold your hand," or whatever, and they take pictures with them. But I mean, from a technical standpoint, I can't disagree with you on that. But I do give him credit from like a business standpoint, because for one, he drove the most volume out of anybody that's tried to do anything like this. 2, he's made everything right, which has been extremely hard. And I don't know what he's had to do that. But from what I heard, he's had to he's probably lost a lot of nights of sleep, but he's got it now. For him, I would say, like, how can I avoid that ever again? And I don't know if that's even possible.
Unless you decentralize Bob's computer. I love calling it that now. Bob's ICP internet computer, Bob's computer. I love that Casey did that, but it is what it is. We have a lot of comments here. I just want to break down the comments before we get out of here. Moving Bandit says all same shit. Trap Tech. We got left. You saw that already. He said Spider Pool just partnered with Tap to give. No one gives a shit about Spider Pool, bro.
They're big, but they also
they're scumbags. All miners are scumbags.
But they also partnered with Fractal too, guys. So you gotta remember that.
Yeah, Fractal's junk. Stan says Casey said he likes Fractal because he gets to test all of his stuff out before he deploys it on.
Well, he said it's a super fast Bitcoin, is what he said.
Yeah. Stan says if ETH hits 12K, Richard Hart will tango into Lambos. Yeah, Richard Hart's going to be Richard Hart is like the 4th largest holder. And it's funny too, because like people say like, oh, that's not his, that's the you sacrificed your Ethereum. You didn't deposit it in there, right? You sacrificed it. There's a word you used when you gave him that Ethereum. So that's his Ethereum, right? So Richard Hart is like the 4th largest holder of Ethereum. But yeah, he's gonna do laps when his Ethereum is worth, billions of dollars. All Movie says web and mobile version of Hypermall is coming. No one gives a shit, buddy. Shizzy Nat is not gonna make it. Yeah, I don't care. Nat is going to 0. Stan says, will they have a stable coin? Any announcement for the tokenomics of TNK? Then you have to bridge it there and stake it.
What is that? Track Network? They have a new token?
No, you had a bridge track over there
yeah.
and then stake it, and then if you didn't, you lost your track, and it was a terrible migration. Stan says, which is more decentralized, Aster or Hyperliquid? Hyperliquid.
They're the same
because it's longer. There's more holders of Hyperliquid. Well, there's more holders of Hyperliquid, so it's more decentralized.
Well, the
I'm just answering the question. Yeah.
The core of the tech stack is very similar in terms of the way they're approaching it. You got to deposit in both, I think.
Yeah, but CZ owns like 90% of the Aster token, so all the voting goes through him, right? Hyperliquid, the team only owns 25%. So if you're asking which is more decentralized, it's definitely Hyperliquid, right?
Yeah, tech stack's the same though.
Yeah, tech stack is the same, 100%. Moving Bandit says stand around 16 million of TK, less than 5 million Hypermall. That stuff just is so boring, dude. Moving Bandit, which is better, Bitcoin, Tap, Track, Bitcoin, I guess. Arch isn't available yet. Track, Tap, best shit, best blah 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 blah. What else? Do you have any real comments here? Stan says I looked at Hypermall. Ugh, all right. UX seemed clunky only because it's Stan. I'll repeat this. What's your opinion? Yeah, the tech stack's terrible on Hypermall. Myself, only sheep trust the government. I love myself out of nowhere. Only sheep trust the government. It's pretty cool. It reminds me of Hyde from that 70s show when everyone's just talking and he comes in.
With, he had a bad ending though.
Well, I didn't say the actor. No, not the actor, the character for sure. Stan says, I know they use ICP tech. How much of their tech is their own? Moving Bandit, talking about more of this. Any security audits listed? No, I don't think there is.
He's talking about.
This is a conversation between Stan and Bandit here. Rare Sats Dom, you got that already. Man, I absolutely love the comments though, guys. Really appreciate them, even if they are about track and no one cares about track. Stan says, wow, I thought Bob was making breakthroughs. The channel burst my bubble. I mean, Web 2, right? Like, I don't know. Dude, like, I don't know. Am I wrong though thinking this? Like, I don't. After Casey
I mean,
it really opened that door to like, oh shit.
Well,
right.
I think also we gotta really. I think he, first of all, if you watch that interview, Casey didn't do a lot of research, to be honest.
No, he didn't.
He didn't, man. And so, like, that's why I'm kind of hesitant to like jump right directly into that. But like, we do know that it's centralized to where you got to deposit. I just think we don't know enough about the ICP like subnets and like creating your custom subnet and what that looks like in terms of centralization. Because the way he explained it was basically one computer, one server, one node, and like basically that's just one person controlling everything. Obviously he has a team that works on like all that stuff, right? But can he add more nodes? That's a question. You know, can he decentralize it by getting more nodes? And I think that those are important questions to know answers to before we just, you know, say that it's, you know, open and closed case of just him and his computers. And when you say that, I imagine him in his garage, just like in front of a computer.
Well, it's with his server, right? Like at the end of the day, you know, all that data is on that one server, right? So could be wrong, but that's just kind of how I picture it. Benny is the modern. Yeah. Okay. Rolando says, "Yo, what's up, fellas? I'm just waiting for blockchain by Jack." Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that, Rolando. I actually want to use Jack Levin's.
Don't fall for his. Don't fall for his spells. He has a lot of spells.
I want to use it, dude. I want to use X1. I want to
just to say that you did.
Zen. No, I want to burn my Zen. I have a lot of Zen still.
Talk about promises. That guy promised a ton of stuff, and like ZPRX or what was it? ZRPX. The
VMPX.
VMPX. The bridge from Bitcoin to yeah.
Remember he was using that one guy,
Libre.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All volume is fake, not on chain. Yeah, I think it's the first thing you said that was right. The president said, are you chasing OpenSea box? Yeah, I need to be doing that. Like I'm messing up, dude. OpenSea could be one of the biggest airdrops and thing, and I'm not chasing any of that shit. I gotta get on that. And then Webster said, yeah, what they said about Bitcoin Spark. Yeah, what they said about Bitcoin. What are you talking about, Webster? Not sure, buddy. But yeah, we'll see. But that is our show, guys. We went way over today, but thank you all for kind of hanging out. Your comments definitely helped us all the whole way here. We got 331 people in here. Appreciate every single one of you guys making today's show absolutely awesome for everyone else. But really appreciate you guys, and that's our show.
Yep. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Without y'all, we could not do this. We remind you guys every day because we are grateful. But we're also grateful for our partners, and if you could check them out, we greatly appreciate it. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for Bitcoin runes, Bitcoin alkanes, and very, very soon, Bitcoin Spark tokens, the BKTN standard, you got to do it at Sats Terminal. With the Spark tokens, there's going to be 3 launch pads that are going to be active once they launch. So you're going to have 3 different contract addresses or 3 different endings to contract addresses. And you want to be able to get all the hot ones from one place, and you can do that there at satsterminal.com. You're also going to earn Amber points, and Amber points are going to go towards a give back for early adopters. So you want to earn as many as possible, and you get a bonus the first time you connect your Bitcoin wallet to satsterminal.com. Also, make sure you try out their borrowing and lending product on their platform there. If you see that third line, it says borrow, you can click that and you can borrow against your Bitcoin there, and you can lend out as well. So make sure you go to satsterminal.com to learn more today. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to jump your Bitcoin ordinals or Bitcoin NFTs like counterparty NFTs, you got to use Emblem Vault to do it. You can jump your Taproot Wizards over to Ethereum and take a loan out against them on the Gandhi application. They are doing Taproot Wizards right now, but I'm sure they're going to open up to other collections as well. And the Emblem team, I'm sure, is going to open up to other chains and environments as well, like Ethereum Layer 2s, are Abstract, Arbitrum, Base, and a Bitcoin Layer 2 possibly as well. Merlin Chain is something they've talked about. And of course, Solana is going to be added to that list. And they have the best AI product in the Solana ecosystem with Agent Hustle. If you go to agenthustle.ai, you can use it for free. You can test it out, ask him, find me some good plays. He'll bring back some options with reasons why he thinks these are good plays. But if you want to use the best tool sets, you got to actually get a subscription, and you can get a discount if you use the Hustle token. And the Hustle token is the single token that powers the entire Emblem Vault ecosystem. So Hustle, Migrate.fund, and Emblem Vault, all powered by Hustle token. So there's also conditional trading as well, that you can set trades with Hustle and then go do whatever you need to do. He'll execute those on your behalf. And speaking of Migrate.fund, this is another product in their ecosystem, and they started migrations, I believe, today. And so the migration tool is on Solana. And if you launched a token on Pump Fund or another launchpad and you want to migrate to another launchpad or manage your own LPs, you can use Migrate.fund to make that a seamless process, right? Because that liquidity gets locked up whenever you do the bonding event. And so they can help you kind of get that out and get your community kind of rejuvenated for a migration. So they have about, I believe, 14 teams that are going to be in this first cohort. And if you want to be a part of the next one, you got to reach out to their team at migrate.fund and get more information about that. But you can definitely check out what the experience is here with these teams that are doing it now. Head over to migrate.fund to learn more, and then head over to emblem.vision to learn about the entire ecosystem there. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Soon, you're going to be able to trade Bitcoin fungible tokens directly on their platform, like Doggo to the Moon, $1 billion cats, maybe already sats, and maybe some of these Spark tokens if they pick up momentum. Obviously, you can trade Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. There is a trading competition that is going on. You can see who is leading the way if you go to compete at the very top. But first place gets 5,000 USDC, and another 5,000 USDC is split amongst the next couple winners there. Also, there is a 20,000 ARA token that's going to be a part of that prize pool. But you earn points by utilizing their platform. And then also you earn points on the Botanic side, is that's the chain that they're live on right now, the Spider chain, Bitcoin Layer 2. And don't forget their TGE is today. So if you want to get involved with that, head over to Aerodrome. Make sure you go to their X account so you can get the exact contract address from there to make sure you're dealing with the correct token there. But head over to Artura.finance today. And don't forget, every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we have the Trader's Edge with Artura that we co-host with them for their new show there.
Real quick,
And-
is that right? Did Bitcoin just drop below 109 or 110? Look at that.
Actually,
Oh my god.
are you sure that's correct though?
Yeah.
I think maybe it is.
Yeah,
Maybe it is.
109.4. It's right.
Oh
Ping.
wow. Okay. Gosh, my Bitcoin price action has been horrendous lately, but it's not due to me. It's due to these markets that are just absolutely crazy, and the indicators are not working at all. But anyways, to get back on track here, yeah, so make sure you get that contract address from their X account so you know exactly that you're dealing with the right token there. And then next up is Tokyo Wallet, the multi-chain smart wallet that is building for the best UI and UX for all users. They support 3 ecosystems: Bitcoin, Cardano, and now Sui. They partner with SAS Terminal to make it possible for you guys to swap for Bitcoin runes, and they partnered with DEX aggregators for Cardano and Sui to make that possible as well. They have their token, which is a Cardano token that powers their entire ecosystem, but you can stake directly in their application there. If you have an iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. If you have a Android, head over to the Google Play Store, download the application, let us know what you think. Also, there's a little YouTube section there where you'll find our channel as well as other YouTubers as well to get information about the markets. So head over to Tokyo.io today to learn more. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin's strength through the power of AI. They have their Wizard 2.0 that is available for you guys to be able to swap from Merlin Chain to other blockchains like Solana and BNB. So all you need is some Bitcoin, some Merlin Bitcoin in your Merlin wallet, and you can swap for hot tokens in Solana, BNB, and other hot ecosystems. Also, the Wizard can bring back data from those ecosystems as well. You can get the top 10 wallet information for Fartcoin or, Cake, which is the Pancake Swap token there. So really awesome tool. Make sure you use it there. And then they have a proof of stake kind of model for Merlin Chain. And there's 3 ways you can participate right now. You can participate in the Bitcoin staking, Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. You earn 16% APR on average for that pool. It does close in 5 days. So if you want to get involved and earn for 5 days, you can do so, or you can wait for the next one because I'm sure they're going to reopen that up. A lot of institutional interest with that. $55 million invested in that as well. And then also there's 2 different options for the Merlin Chain token. So there's the flexible, which is a day-to-day. You earn 15% APR in that one. You can claim the rewards every single day. You can compound interest those. If you do withdraw, though, it does take 7 days for a cooldown period. So just know that. And then the last option is that compound, or not compound. It's the, what is it? The bonded option. There was a 45% APR to earn on a 6-month kind of length of this staking vault here. You earn 45%, but you can compound interest this as well. Head over to merlinchain.io to learn more today. This team is in Korea Blockchain Week, and next week is the token 2049. So shout out to them. I'm sure they're going to be sponsoring events there. And then lastly is our guys from Ordinal Hive, which actually has a space coming up, I believe, in like 15 minutes. So make sure you guys are joining that as well. This team is rocking and rolling, has the fastest Ordinal marketplace in the industry at ordinalhive.io. They have their B collection as well that is 70% staked, and make sure you're following them on their X account because they're going to be dropping more information about their TGE in the future as well. Head over to ordinalhive.io. And thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job on that, man. As always, if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io, some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. Check out this newest one. We just have it this week. Got Hyperliquid versus Aster. This should be something you guys will be checking out because this is 2 of the hottest tokens in the space. Go check this article out right now. Get to it. And yeah. If you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend NordVPN. I use it every single day. It's about $3 a month. Lock it in for 2 years. You get now all of a sudden you get 3 extra months when you lock that in there as well. So you're actually paying way less than $3 a month. It's be more like $250, $265 a month. So you definitely want to get this, guys. And this will allow you to use stuff like Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid, they have a geo blocker on there where if you're in the US, you cannot use it. But with the VPN, you can get around it. You can now use Hyperliquid and pretty much anything where you even open up a MEXC account because they have no KYC there. And then that's what I use as a bridge because it's the cheapest fees out there. So MEXC, Hyperliquid, all you need is a VPN. Lock it in for 2 years. Set it, forget it. $3 a month and done with it. And then on top of that, if you guys want to make some merch, we have some of the best merch in the entire ecosystem. It's about to be hoodie weather, especially here in Philadelphia. It's starting to get cold outside and rainy. Fall is coming. You guys need a hoodie. Check out our hoodies here. We got hats, jackets, and so much more. And you guys can check everything out at onchainrevolution.io. And remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution call. Market recap. You're not bullish, you're not bullish, no. Look at the Bitcoin control. Why you still cold? Price action roll. Don't fall from there. Trying indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How do the market react? Fear and greed, God. Bridging the tokens and touching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies so savages. You know how crazy we are. Chain of traction, main attraction.